we're good.
Got to wait a minute and call it order. Yeah. Let's see.
We're good. Let's call this meeting to order.
Okay. Bermal,
Yes.
Voss,
Yes.
Cheechak,
Yes.
Paul,
Yep.
Schreier.
Yes.
Just need a motion for approval.
Make a motion to approve the agenda?
Second.
Okay, Schreier,
Yes.
Paul,
Yes.
Bermal,
Yes.
Voss,
Yes.
Cheechak.
Yes.
All right. Harriet, guys are ready? You want to do your presentation? And yeah, so we've let we've let the council know we're having each department do their presentations tonight. We'll finish getting the budget put together, get projections put together on income, work with departments, and then we'll have discussions during the week, and then as we go through for the next meeting, you know, what guidance are we getting from the mayor and the council and talking with departments.
Okay, for the library, I'm Harriet Peterson,
Jerry Wenzel.
and we'll start out with the budget worksheet. And I'll just kind of explain if we've decreased or increased anything. If you have any questions, let me know. For the library salaries, it's $121,113.20. That was an increase of $9,696.96. That included a 5% increase for each person that works in the library and increasing Jerry's hours to full-time. And the increasing Jerry's hours to full-time is because we're kind of looking down the road. I'm not getting any younger. And just kind of getting things prepared. So that was the reason for her going full-time. Custodian salaries, we increased $200, which made it $400. And that's because we have a lot of programs going on and we do need it cleaned more than we usually do. So we increased that to $400. The library dues and subscriptions stayed the same. Education and training, all the same. Same with the equipment repair and maintenance. And then we go down to where it says library, telephone, and communications. And we had to increase that $2,400, so that is actually $4,000. The reason for that is we bought 2 hotspots, and the hotspots are used all the time. And so to meet that need, we bought 2 more, but that did increase that telephone and communications. Then we'll go down to technology service. We did decrease that at $1,100, and that's $1,400 now. And the reason for that is we're hoping that we can buy a computer with our grant. And so instead of using that money, we're going to try and use a grant to get that computer. So we decreased that. Library programs was $23,351.78. That was an increase of $1,111.99. And that is because the programs, like I say, are increasing and the attendance is increasing. Okay, so on the next page is library books. That is $24,325.84. We increased it $1,158.37. And we increased it 5% due to increased circulation. And we also get some of that funded by direct state aid. So the library equipment, we increased $900, and that's because our launch pads, which are a book type programmed game, are used all the time, and so we'd like to get some more of those. And then also our barcode scanner that we use to check out books is getting very worn, so we use it for that. And for office supplies, we actually decreased that $26.50. And so that's a total of $180,640.82.
Any specific questions you guys have? 'Cause if you have questions, I want to answer
Yep,
those.
any
and then-
questions, and then I'll go on.
And I may have them talk about their successes. I think probably would be good for many of you to hear, you know, the successes and the things that the library does and gets recognized for, and then some of the grants that you've,
I guess I'd like to hear that piece first, because that probably answers my questions.
yeah.
Okay. I've got some statistics here, if that's what you, for our total program attendance, it was 4,890. And just to compare to other libraries, we try and compare to similar size in our area. Mitchellville's was 1,928. Van Meters was 4,347. Dallas Center, 1,752. Woodward, 1,850. Madrid, which is a step up from our library. We're a C library, they're a D library, 4,995. And then Jefferson is 5,551. And when you go with those bigger libraries, the thing is they have a lot more people. So like Story City has 13 on staff, Jefferson 14. So we're comparing not only this, you know, the amount of kids we're getting, is also the, you know, the size of the library and everything. So we feel our programs have really been successful, and we're really happy with the attendance that we get.
What was last year's or 2024's attendance? Do you know?
What was it, what?
What was 2024's attendance? Do you know?
What our attendance was for 2024?
Yeah.
And that's residents, patrons through the door, correct? Is that what
Patrons
that-
at what?
Is it, or is
Just
that
program attendance.
program attendance?
Yeah, it was just program attendance, yeah. For 24-25, we had 195 programs, and then we had 387 interlibrary loans, which we send out to other libraries. We have 11,057 visitors.
I guess what I'm trying to get at is, I guess I should have rephrased that. So what would be a 23, 24, and then 24, 25 number since the year's split?
It really has increased every year. I mean, I can certainly get that out of our statistics book, but every year we increase for programs.
I know that you guys do very well at it, and I'm just curious what the growth really is.
Sure.
So that was
Yeah.
my only question.
You may cover some of the grants and things, and the food pantry, and just
Okay.
for the new council and the mayor to hear that.
Sure. So we received 2 Dallas County grants, and with those, we received a 3D printer. We got a, you can maybe help me with some of this, a laminator.
Yeah.
Sorry to
Yeah.
spring that on you, I just want to
What?
make sure. Sorry to spring it on you, I just want to
No,
make sure.
that's okay.
Oh, all of the children's furniture and
Yeah,
toys. the
yes,
new
we have all
stuff.
that children's furniture in there that we got, and, trying to think if there was anything else, but it was over $10,000. I mean, it was a large amount that we got. And now we're gonna try and get the the computer this year. I mean, that's kind of our goal, is to get that, because we need one more from patrons, and so we're gonna try and use that. And then we also have a food pantry. We started that a couple years ago, and that's very well used. We use it, I mean, people come in all the time, and we get our food from, we go to Polk City, and twice a week we pick up food from them. And then now the new Fairway has given us a lot of food. We get a lot of food from people in town, a lot from the farmers in the summertime. So we've just been really blessed with all the food that we get and all the food that goes out to people that really need it. And we're surprised how many need it. Really, we are. Yeah.
Just yesterday, I think we roughly counted 15.
Yeah.
And I think that was just like mainly in the afternoon.
Right, yeah.
And other metro communities have come here to see how you run that, correct?
Urbandale came
Yep.
to see the
Right.
community fridge.
To see how to set it up, yeah. And then we also get, every other Thursday, they come from the Food Grid. It's kind of the main place in Des Moines that gathers all the food from all different stores. And they bring it twice a month on Thursday. And most of that is from Trader Joe's, most of that food. So it's a big variety, and what's fun about it is that some of these kids don't get the donuts and the rolls and things like that, and they can, you know, with this. So that's a neat thing too, I think. So we've been really happy with that.
Where's the food pantry housed at? Is that here?
It's in our back corner of the library.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a separate exit to it for people who don't want to go traipsing back through the
Yeah.
library.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause at the beginning, we didn't know where to put it, and we thought, you know, they might be a little intimidated, and so we put it way in the back corner with the idea that they can just walk out. Nobody sees them, nobody pays any attention, and out they go. So yeah.
We know what you look like, though. With those donuts.
That's a true statement.
Is that stuff the kids can enjoy while they're here, reading books and stuff too? Or is that something just to take and go out of the pantry?
Do they, my ears are all plugged up, I'm sorry, what was it?
They eat it here?
Do some
We
kids?
just-
No, they
like
usually
to
just, yeah,
take
they
it?
usually just
Okay.
take it with
Take
them,
it.
yeah. Yep. Yep.
What is the computer that you're looking to buy for patrons to come in and use? Is it just a regular old desktop, or?
Right, it's just a computer. We have one.
Okay.
And that's not really enough. It's like if people's computers, you know, some work from home, their computer broke down and but they like to come in here and use our computer. So one is a little bit short of what we really need, so we get another one, yeah.
And then, can you expand, sorry, one more question. Can you expand on what these hotspots are and what they're used for? Are they
Well,
just,
there you
We're using
go.
one right now.
yeah, okay, so they are just cell phone
Wi-Fi.
Wi-Fi hotspots then?
I use it for Granger Days all the time, so that we can run credit card machines and so forth. They
Okay.
work great.
There's a lot that get, if lines are cut at your house and you're out Wi-Fi, come get ours. Some people don't necessarily plan the dropping of their current internet service to the installation of the next one, so that's a good time to, you know, use that. Vacations, people will take them on vacations. Yeah.
So
A
people
lot of them
can,
use it for work, you
people
know.
can just rent them or borrow them? Is
Yeah,
that what
oh,
it is?
and especially, you know, especially if we've had a couple of instances where the lines have been cut or, you know, something happens and both people are working from home. So they're like, I need to work, so then
Yeah.
they'll,
Yeah, they're kind of desperate, they really, yeah.
yeah.
So so we provide those free for people to check out? And
Yes.
how many do we have now?
Yes, we're checking, we check them all.
I think she said, I think we just got 2 more.
We got 2 more, we have 6 now.
6, yeah. Okay, then, just going on, for our revenue, we have down $17,500, and the $14,000 is from Dallas County. And we went over there, and we went to the Board of Supervisor meeting, and all the Dallas County libraries usually go there, and we try and get more money. We're still working on it. We don't know if we'll get more, but that's what we've been getting is $14,000. And then $3,500 is from state aid. And what that's based on is what you achieve. So if we do silo, for example, is when we loan books out to different people in the state. And if we loan a lot of books out, we get more money. Like we received over $1,800 for the books we loaned out one of our neighboring towns, $479. And I'm not saying that either way, but that's just kind of the way it works. So you actually get paid more for the more you do. And so that's how that's drawn up for the state aid. So we get $3,500 for that. Is there any questions on that?
Sorry, I have
Okay.
a question for Kirk. So when I'm looking at this, so when I look at 2025, so does that mean that's for the full year of 25 or the fiscal year of July 25 to July 26?
That's FY 2025, so June 2025.
Or whatever. Okay,
The ending, that's what it ended in.
gotcha.
And the 26 is what they've spent so far, and the budget is right next to it, so you can compare.
Gotcha, okay.
July 1st to today or whenever.
Correct,
Right, yeah.
yes.
Gotcha.
It's really 6 months worth. I didn't put anything January on there, so you can see a true 6 months, if that
Mhm.
makes sense.
Okay.
We're really trying to keep those equal. However, there may be certain things that happened within a fiscal year that caused a line item to be different. So if you have a question, may ask us and we could provide some detail for that year, but we're trying to keep those line items pretty consistent so it shows a true picture year over year.
So with your, back up to the expenses part up on top. So you're wanting to do a 5% increase for more programs and higher attendance. What kind of new programs are you guys looking to put in place?
What kind of programs?
What kind of new programs are you looking to add to what's already out there?
Well, this summer we added a chess club.
Okay.
That was just an example. Then we have the after-school program. And the thing with that, we use more money because we have more kids every year. And like this year, we have a Ken on the waiting list, And so it's not only the different programs, it's also the amount of children we have. Then we have senior bingo. We've been trying to spend a lot of time with the seniors. And so we have that twice a month on Thursdays.
Okay.
And we get about probably 25, sometimes 30
Okay.
for the senior bingo. And then we have family bingo, and that's on a Thursday night also. And then we have people come in and present. We have people on staff that, I know Jerry did a cookie baking class, and so we do things within our staff too.
Okay.
So we just kind of and we try and meet different needs for different people,
Okay.
so. Any other questions, or?
$1,400 for the laptop, right?
No, I think they're getting a grant for the laptop, so they're hoping to spend that 1,100 for the grant. I think that's why they saved 1,100 on that.
Right, yeah, that'll be the grant for the computer.
I'm good, thank you guys.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bravo. Thank you for going first.
Guinea pigs.
don't think so. You're
See
up.
them.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Harriet. Thank you, Jerry.
I have 3 for you. So we'll start with recreation, if that's okay.
Tricia, I have a packet there too, if you want to use that. Sorry, I think you're on
Thank you.
the second page going forward. If you want to look at that too.
Okay.
Sorry,
No, that's okay.
should have given you that
I
too.
have all my notes written down too.
Yeah, yep, kind of go off both, I guess.
Ready?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. For salaries, so my salary when I was hired was approved at a little bit higher than the previous director, based on the role I would be playing, hybrid as Parks and Rec and community engagement. Also, as a veteran, I provide my own health insurance, and I don't need a HSA, so those costs are gone. So this is based on my approved salary plus 5% increase.
And
Recreation.
those, sorry, let me,
Yes.
and we just have the salary piece and the increase pieces are just holders. So there's a hold on, if you hear department heads talk about 5%, it's a placeholder. Finish reviews, get input from the council on salaries and raises, and then go from there. So those haven't been, you'll hear them say that, but it's a placeholder, and we'll get that feedback from the mayor and the council.
Any questions on that one? Okay. Next one, part-time salaries. I would like to hire a recreation assistant to help me out with sports programming and any other administrative tasks. That would be at $17, which is average and for our size of town, capped at 20 hours a week. Right now, as the director, whenever sports programming is going on, I'm working 7 days a week. And it's really hard to flex my hours and still stay in the office during office hours. I'm doing it decently, but I still go over a few weeks at a time, depending on what's going on.
Would they solely just do rec, or would they help you with like community and parks?
They'd help me with community and parks, any programming that's going on that we provide. Biggest thing is evening and weekend hours. Those are the biggest need for setting up, tearing down gym, setting up, tearing down fields, prepping, anything like that. Okay, temporary salaries. That one's just kept at 1,500. And I believe that is for if we need to hire umpires or referees. We do not do a summer camp, so I am getting rid of that line item. For contracted programs, remaining at 6,000, so that pays for like our ISU extension programs, yoga in the park, dance instructors. I have had a Taekwondo teacher and art teacher reach out. They'd like to start doing some programming, so we're exploring that as well to add this year. For recreation programs, so keeping that at 20,000. It's been very low this year. I think a bunch of supplies were ordered at the end of the year, and then not much has happened this year because we had to cancel some programs without a director. So that expended amount is pretty low from what is average. That pays for any equipment towards the recreation program, so balls, field goals, spray paint for painting the lines, uniforms, everything. Uniform allowance, that is strictly Parks and Rec staff. So getting some polos or sweaters. Dues and subscription, keeping that the same. I've only paid for Iowa Parks and Recreation Association, and then we just recently paid for the National Association. So that will be at 500 or below. There's only 2 I plan to subscribe to. Recreation, education, and training, I'm gonna keep it at 2,000 because I do need to do the playground safety inspection course. Either myself or our recreation assistant, because we currently do not have one. Sports field maintenance, I'm bumping it up to 7,000 so that we can purchase chalk, sand for the volleyball courts and the fields, and then any fencing repairs that need to be done. Transportation, we don't provide any, so that's 0. Telephone and communication, that's pretty standard, 420. Recreation insurance, this is bumping up because of our sports programs and our requirements to have a little bit higher insurance for liability, so I bumped that up to 400 based on the estimate that was given from our insurance company. Technology services, I'm keeping that the same at 1,300 based on previous expenses. Skip grant fund for now till the end. Contract services, so our portion of, we have Civic Plus as a whole for the city, that's our software system. And then Civic Rec is another piece of it, and that's where we register for programs and do, when you reserve any facilities for rentals. Our portion of that alone is 6,000. And then also under that umbrella would be movies in the park, which will add back. That cost was cut down last year because some of them were canceled, so I need to allocate for that this year.
Was there a lot of attendance to that?
I'm not sure. I would have to ask the library. I think they kept track of it because they split the cost last year.
Yeah, I don't know what for sure.
Never
I know in the past when Jenny was doing it, there was decent attendance, but
The computer program you were talking about, is that 6,000, is that a one-time cost or an annual cost?
Annual. Minor equipment, we haven't had any expense this year, but again, our director wasn't here for the programming, so I just kept it at 500 for now. So I'm not projecting needing to purchase anything right now. Recreation office supplies, so this would be like toner for printer, any other office supplies. I think those expenses were not properly coded by the previous director, so that's why it says there was no expenses, but I know there were because toner and ink and printer was purchased, so I'm gonna keep it at 500. Concession stand, I'll keep it 1,000. In order to operate the concession stand again, we would need volunteers, but if I'm going to reach out to the soccer club, and then if we want to operate it during Granger Days at all, and then any baseball teams that are having games here, so that we can operate it. We'll provide the supplies, but the other programs would have to provide the volunteers to operate it, and then we'd split the revenue.
Is that something we can do as far as when you talk to those sports teams that want to reserve our stuff, they can get a better deal if they're getting their parents to volunteer for stuff? Because
They
I'm
could.
assuming the more they volunteer, the more money that we can
Mhm.
be bringing
I
in.
think that's a good incentive to offer.
So supplies are just like plates and silverware, napkins?
Supplies would be like candy,
Getting
popcorn,
started,
hot
yeah.
dogs.
Yeah, we've just never got that, since I've been here, we just haven't gotten that launched, which some communities have a really robust concession stand, and for whatever reason, we haven't successfully gotten that launched. Need volunteers and kind of a champion to do that. It's hard for Park and Rec to run the programs and run the concession stand.
Okay, and then operating supplies, those are just standard expenses to be able to keep operating every day. Again, it was low this year because lack of director, but as you can see from previous years, it was higher. And then the rest is automatically calculated. So would you like me to discuss grant fund for recreation? So I am requesting 20,000, bumping up from 15,000. We would like to go after the National Recreation and Parks Association grant they do every year, and that's in partnership with Musco Lighting. NRPA provides 25,000 in kind plus $100,000 towards a mini pitch system, which is a modular multi-sport field system for youth. If you've been to Perry and have seen their little soccer fields that have like the tiled floors and it's all caged in, that's what they are. And so in getting that, Musco's mini pitch system provides everything for that field. All we would have to provide is the conduit running the electricity to it, plus the concrete pad. And we'd like to do a double. And the estimate for a double is $140,000.
And how much of that is grant?
100,000 plus the 25,000 in kind, so 125,000.
So what we're trying to do in the past, we had folded in the grants into each one of these individual budgets. But at times it's been pretty hard to do that because we don't know 100% which grants we're going after, and we've become, with Alicia coming on board, and then with what Fire and EMS have been doing, and Robin and Emily Blair, we've been pretty active going after a grant fund. So Christy pulled that grant fund piece off. What we attempt to do is when we say they're going after a $20,000 grant, we zero that out by saying, okay, there's a $20,000 expense, but there's going to be, where we fill in $20,000 in revenue, so it kind of just equals itself out. What I'd like to do moving forward is, as these opportunities come up, they come to the table, to the council, as a one-off, here's the program, here's the grant we're going after, here's how we can fund it, or here's the shortfall, here's how we can make up the difference. And so we're targeting to do that. We want to have it in the budget, so Christy isn't always doing budget amendments, but we're aware that we'll probably have to do budget amendments as some of these grants come forward. Any questions for her on the recreation budget?
Where are we at on the field use policy and the schedule?
The mayor right now just okayed it, so next I will bring it to our lawyer to go through it. Would you like me to give you a synopsis of our draft? Okay.
I got faith in you.
Okay.
Sorry, that Musco grant, what's it building again?
A mini pitch system. And so it's a multi-sport field, and we would have two fields that are side by side right next to each other. It would provide soccer, basketball, volleyball, tennis, and pickleball all in one field. But we'd have two. And it's called the Pickle Grip tiled floor. so it's like a good grip kind of tile floor, really hardy, especially in different seasons and weather.
Where would that go?
Triangle Park, just north of us.
Just north of us right here.
Northeast corner of Sycamore and Wall.
Any other questions on recreation? Okay, community center is next. Community center salaries staying at 0. Don't have anybody full-time. Custodian salaries, so this year we had 2,500 for our one custodian. She has a full-time job, so she only cleans on nights and weekends, and she cleans for the community center and the parks. So I would like to add an additional custodian to cover the off hours that she's not cleaning, especially as we add rentals in to the community center again. And I'm very decisive on what rentals we're allowing, like baby showers, small graduation parties, things like that. And I'm limiting it to 1 a day, if it is open on the calendar. City meetings still take priority. Anything city related going on, take priority, and it's blocked off. Temporary salaries still at 0, part-time still at 0, education and training still at 0. Building repair and maintenance will keep at 5,000. The expense that was this year was HVAC and I believe a gas leak that we had. So those vary each year. Don't know what big expense will pop up. Grounds repair and maintenance, I would like to bump that up from 1,000 to 4,000 so that we can repair the sidewalk that wraps around the building. It's crumbling and uneven and it's a trip hazard. And it's mostly our senior citizens that use it to come to the programming here. Equipment repair and maintenance, keeping at 500. Utilities, keeping at 5,000. Telephone communication, keeping at 2,000. Advertising, I will keep at 800, now that we're opening rentals back up. Insurance, keep it 3,000. Our bill just hasn't hit yet this year, so that's why it says 0.
Gets paid in April, so that's why it's 0.
Technology services, keep it 650. I'm not sure why there was no cost there before, but we do have internet that runs here and 2 phones. Contract services. Remind myself. I believe that's our background checks and drug screens. Sorry. And then any online payment fees from getting reservations, online payments for the Rental Center or community center. Rental refunds, I'm just keeping it 250. I don't expect any refunds. We have a pretty strict refund policy. Minor equipment. So this year I purchased the new city tables for city meetings only. These are the black ones with black chairs. However, we only have half of the white tables and chairs that we started with, so I will need to replace them next year.
What, like, did they break or something? Like,
Yes.
A lot of those are used, a lot of events in here between Girl Scouts and library and our events, and then we use those Granger days, so.
me.
Okay. Office supplies, I don't need any for community center. Operating supplies, keeping at 1,500. That's like our cleaning supplies for our custodian. We will need to replace a vacuum this year. And the rest is calculated.
Any questions on community center?
How much is the rental fee?
So there's a few. If you're a nonprofit renting it just for your meetings, it's free. If you are doing a half-day AM rental, which is from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m., it is $80 for residents and $160 for non-residents. If you're doing a half-day PM rental, it's $160 for residents, $320 for non-residents. That's to deter alcohol. If you're doing a full day rental, it's $200 for residents or $400 for non-residents.
Do we have a projected usage, like how many days out of the year are we thinking that this place will be rented?
I projected for 1 a month, just to be on the conservative side, but so far I already have 3 baby showers and 1 graduation party booked for this year, so 4.
Is there a price difference for weeks versus weekends?
No. We expect mostly weekends will be the bookings for paid.
Did you have people come bid that sidewalk repair? Is that where you got that number from, for the sidewalk repair, or is that just an estimate, or?
We got an estimate from MAPCO.
And that was a rough estimate.
Yeah, price per square foot.
Yeah, per
Yeah.
square foot, and then she took that for rough measurement off.
Okay.
I'm good.
Okay.
As long as the rental breaks even or makes money, I don't care.
That's goal.
Close.
Okay, on to parks. I worked with Aaron a lot on this because he's been carrying the parks for a few years. However, I think Parks and Recreation needs to take more responsibility as a director to take on parks and take that off of Aaron's hands because Public Works has way more to deal with than they don't need to deal with parks. So, we
You
are.
pay her to say that?
I
Nope.
noticed the 5% come out of yours and.
Right?
So with that, in salaries, that would be, we are allocating still 10% of Aaron's salary and 10% of Hunter's. Because right now we are only planning on advertising for seasonal labor right now, which is lower on the temporary salaries line. So the park salaries right now is the Aaron and Hunter.
Those people be underneath you on a daily?
The seasonal labor
Yeah.
would be under me, but getting a lot of guidance from Aaron.
Especially that first year?
Yeah, there'd still be quite, yeah. There's gonna be a lot of working together and helping, yeah.
Mhm.
Like we talked, a seasonal person would be great for the day-to-day stuff, but they can run a mower, but they don't have facilities to maintenance, oil changes, blade sharpening, that type of stuff.
Mhm.
Opening up and shutting down concession stands, making sure water lines are blown out in the fall. I'd like to, until we get somebody grown enough to be full-time permanent in parks, that's stuff that myself and Hunter have done. I've done these concession stands every year since I started, so. Keep the stuff that could cost us a fortune if it wasn't done right. Still, but
And then our custodian salaries, keep the same at 2,000. So one person would be cleaning all the parks. More often, because since we only had one person doing parks and community center, I expect that'll actually get expended closer to the 2,000 to be able to keeping up with it. Temporary salaries, so this is where my seasonal laborer comes in. It would be April to September. We're looking at $18, cap at 30 hours a week. So this person would be doing all of the mowing, all of the watering, any minor maintenance things that need to be done. But mowing alone will take up most of those 30 hours each week. And then I don't have anything until clothing allowance. I cut that in half, just so I can get our laborer and our custodians some just simple Parks and Rec t-shirts. Grounds repair and maintenance, keeping that at 10,000. So this is like for any of our standing buildings, so concession stands, bathrooms, anything like that. Vehicle operations, we're cutting down to 1,000 because that'll be just fuel for the mower. Nothing for transportation, nothing for vehicle repair and maintenance anymore. That'll go back to Public Works. Parks equipment repair and maintenance, that will include the mower. So we'll need to keep funds in there to repair and maintain the mower, which Aaron will charge to our account. Utilities, we're keeping at 1,200. Telephone, so Aaron and Hunter will take their telephone compensation back with them to City Works. So we don't need anything there. Parks turf maintenance, so this is actually grass maintenance. Any treatments or fertilizer, things like that we need to do, or any contractor we need to bring in to pay for those being maintained. We're keeping that at 6,000. Do we have that one next? All right, the engineering line. No, that's my 5,000. So I would like engineering to bump up to 5,000. We are in dire need of a parks master plan. We currently have 5 city parks and only 2 are developed and underdeveloped. So 3 we still need to develop, and we don't have a concrete plan for any of them. With our application to University of Iowa for the IISC partnership, that would be one of our projects that we would like University of Iowa to do. So this would either be 5,000 towards that cost to University of Iowa, or if we don't get the partnership, I still would like to pursue a master plan so we can start phasing our funding and development of our parks. So I would need to hire an engineer to do that.
Didn't we already spend $12,000 on the?
On the drawings that we have?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So-
And I'm ending that.
Yeah,
What's
so
that?
one of the things we'll bring to the council that we're looking at, so we have 3 major projects right now that we're looking to undertake. And we came across a grant opportunity with the University of Iowa where their capstone students, grad students, will get engaged and look at communities to help with community planning and specific projects. So the main projects we're talking to them about is downtown revitalization, helping chase a plan, put a plan together with our group and chase grant funding. The next is public safety building, helping us with concept and Chase grant funding. And larger one, or then the park, mainly, again, we can talk concept, but it's what's the funding source and what can they bring to the table for grant funding. And then there's a lot of miscellaneous things that they can do. We're still trying to put that together. We're trying to get our arms wrapped around, do we just do a couple projects with them, or do we do a large project where they do up to 10 things and then they bring us what are those grant opportunities that are attached to this. We don't have all that put together yet, but part of why the 5,000 is in there is if we participate with them in a larger program, there would be I don't want to say nominal, because there could be, depending on how many programs you do with them and funding opportunities they bring to the table, there may be up to if we did over 10 projects, there may be up to a $50,000 price tag for that. But before we commit to that, we then see what are the funding opportunities that they bring to the table. But we don't have all that information together yet to bring to the council. So that part of what that number is that would be her, does she budget to go towards something like that? We do have and I agree with Jared, this is something you may want to have a further conversation on. We did pay to get a study done on the drawings that we do have. This is what is that next step and what of those do we utilize?
The only one that's still even accurate would be Eagle View Park. The Triangle Park drawing, it's not accurate. And what we have for the 26-acre park already isn't accurate because of the retention pond. So those would need to be done anyway.
You said there's 2 parks. What are considered the 2 parks besides the main park?
So we have Centennial Park, CCRA, which is this area over here. We have Eagle View Park, which is over in Twin Eagles. We've had the land for it for a while, but we just have not developed it yet. We have Triangle Park, which is just north of here. It's literally a grass strip that is in the shape of a triangle, and it's directly north of this building, right on the other side of the trees. And then we have the 26-acre park, which is the new one, just north on Sycamore, and it'll be adjacent to the new junior high middle school.
And Triangle Park came about, Greenland donated that ground to the city for not necessarily park, but it just kind of evolved into some place where we would put park opportunities. So we've looked at that several different options in the past. I think we finally council settled on, that's a location where we could have park space. Jody, Jared, correct me if I'm...
I don't know that that's 100%. I mean, we looked at putting the fire station there, or EMS station, or the Park and Rec building, or a lot of stuff, so I don't know that it's designated just for a park, but
And we already own all the land. Is the North Sycamore one it's not the same as the school grounds? It's separate, right?
It's separate. It's just north of the school. It's already been leveled, and the retention pond's already been dug out. So technically, we now have 2 ponds in the city.
Yeah, so we leveled it within a foot of grade. The west 2/3 of it. The east third of it has had the dirt scraped off and stockpiled, and we could go in and push some clay up and put that clay on some projects here. Public safety building is a location where we need clay. We own a lot at the corner of 17 and Burr Oak that could be we need to fill. could use it to fill. So the east third is, dirt's been scraped, still some clay to be removed. And the other 2/3 is within a foot of grade. So that the park doesn't, we know that we need field space, whether that's grass or turf. We know that we eventually need a building up there, and we have parking. We just put the ground within a foot of grade that would allow the city to determine next steps. What does the field space look like? When do we put a building? How do we put a building? Those things. So there's a joint road between the city and the school. The school put it in. And so that access will be joint access. Half the road's on the school, half of it's on the city. And then we'll peel off of that road for a parking lot and access to the rest of the facility. Next.
Okay. Rental refunds, yep, oh wait, sorry, insurance staying at 1,000. Rental refunds, don't expect any, but still keep at least enough for one refund in there, which is $25. And that is for the shelter house, that's the only thing we rent off in parks. Building repair and maintenance, keeping at 3,000, so that's for any of the standing buildings that need repairs. We do have our faucets vandalized often, so those are replaced often. Contract services, keeping at 2,500, so that is if we need someone to come in and fertilize, aerate, all those kind of things.
Sorry, what's the difference between turf maintenance and the chemical and fertilizer? One's just specific to.
Turf maintenance is so like mowing, seeding, aerating, those kind of things. Contract services would be specifically we're contracting it out, so that we're keeping it separate, knowing what our expenses are for us doing it or a contract.
Nope, sorry, I think I got ahead of you. I meant the chemicals and fertilizer, sorry.
Anybody that's hired to do weed spray or fertilizing has always come out of turf maintenance.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Kind of, I've always, those two lines have always been in there. I've always utilized turf maintenance and chemical/fertilizer as the same if we have to hire. Yeah, depends on what we do. Some years we get, if it's a nice year, we get rain, we don't have to do as much. And other years we get in the fall and those fields are just beat to death, then we end up doing some more work in the fall. So I've always just utilized those two kind of intertwined together.
If we contract, I'm gonna start putting it in the contract line, just so we can keep track of what's separate, what we're actually doing and what contracted would actually be doing.
But we can't, we don't have anybody that can spray or fertilize or do any of that, so
I
it'll
know.
all.
Right now we don't.
Yeah, so we might want to move turf maintenance and chemical fertilizer into one big line item.
That would be fine.
How would that differentiate from ground repairs and maintenance?
So ground repairs and maintenance would be like your sidewalks, trails.
Sidewalks, trees, lighting in the
Constructed,
parks,
yeah.
that type of stuff.
Bridge,
Okay.
all those kind of things. Grass maintenance, we keep separate from
Everything else
constructed
maintenance?
things, yes.
Yeah.
We have the chemicals fertilizer line in there right now, and that was to track if we do hire a laborer that is certified to do the chemical spraying, then we can keep track of those expenses in the separate line. But we can lump it into one if you prefer, with turf maintenance. Minor equipment, we're gonna keep that at 5,000, because with the new labor, I would like to get a single line spray painter we have to spray paint 5 football fields and additional soccer fields, and then also keeping up with spray painting our baseball fields and soccer fields. Right now, the city owns a 2-person operated line spray painter, so that the laborer can do it by itself, I'd like to just get a little long sleeve one. As well as a weed whacker and backpack blower. I do not need to purchase a 0-turn lawnmower because we already purchased one out of Parks. So that is the one our laborer will maintain. Concession stand support, that's 0. I think that should stay in recreation. Parks operating supplies, keeping at 1,000. Cleaning supplies for the parks come out of that as well, and trash cans, things like that. I did add 2 line items. One is ponds, now that we are treating the ponds that we have. So this year's expense for treating Windcrest Pond is $2,300. We expect that to at least double when we start treating the retention pond next year. The second one I added is capital projects and building. Once we hire a laborer, we would like to purchase a storage shed and place it right over here on the gravel so that the lawnmower will be closer to the parks and you won't have to be driving over down to Main Street to get it out of Public Works and bring it down here. So we'd like to put the lawnmower in there, as well as some equipment and the Ranger, sorry, I don't know what it's called, that's Public Works is gonna give us a Ranger as well.
When you say Windcrest Pond, that's the one closer to the elementary, right?
Yep, that one's right over here.
Not the one that's just like right out here.
That's
Not
ours.
this one, this one's at HOA Pond.
That's what I thought.
The one right next to elementary, that's Windcrest. I'm requesting 10,000 for that one, because we, Aaron and I spec'd out some simple sheds. They're averaging around 6,600 to 6,800. And that's just a simple one with 2 doors coming up, and that's it. And we figured to lower costs, we can just have footings put in and then just do a rock bed instead of doing concrete. So I don't expect we'll go over that 10,000.
Does our high school have a construction program? Anybody know?
I don't think they do. I wish they did.
That'd be
It'd
awesome.
a perfect project, but I don't.
Yeah.
You might reach out to Dallas Center on that.
It might.
It's been a lot of years since I've been there, but I do know that we used to go and build 2-car garages, and I think Johnston did the same thing for a while. I don't know if they still do, and I don't know
At
if
one
it's.
point, Madrid did too.
They've gotten rid of a lot of their traditional shop classes and are now doing it in partnership with DMAC or Waukee Apex and things like that, so I can look though, for sure.
Spend $2,500 on a shipping container and $7,500 on trees.
I might have a shipping container.
Yeah, shipping containers and no-go. I like where you're going.
I know, that's why I said the
Gonna get a little
trees.
hotter.
We're not going down the shipping container.
Okay, grant fund is the next one. I would like to bump that up to 20,000. I would like to go after the DNR's REAP grant, and that would be to rip wrap our 26-acre retention pond, and then put a walking path around it and a fishing pier, possibly a restroom. But DNR has specific grants for attracting fishing and recreation. So that is exactly what we can apply it to. When I was looking it up, I believe for our population, the max we can go after is 75,000. But there's some other ones also that DNR has that could be combined with them. And there is some matching requirements.
If we can rip wrap that new pond, it would be wonderful. Then we don't have it, take your time to walk around Wintercrest in the spring and see the mess that it's become because it wasn't done. The future maintenance would be a lot easier, it'd look a lot nicer, especially being the main entrance into that 26 acres that sits right up, I mean, right at the side of the road, right up front, so
Yep.
would be wonderful.
And when we get those ponds up and going, then I'd like to start some ice fishing programs and cops with bobbers in the summer, things like that, so. Bring in fishing. I know it's wanted in this town. Any questions?
Do we need to put something in there for seeding of the 26 acres?
Yeah, we gotta have that discussion, how we're gonna do that, and what we're gonna do.
Is it already seeded?
It'd be like the DOT, we could just go out there and blow hay all over the
Yeah,
place.
that would
and
be
then
good.
we'll do it next day.
Would that seeding happen this year though?
It's gonna happen
It'll happen
in the spring.
Early spring, yeah. Yeah, so it'd be a.
So
we'll have to
pinch your
figure that
pennies.
out.
Yeah, so would we need to, sorry, I'm asking questions, would we need to allocate that every year? Or do you only?
Not for now, no, we just need to get something in there established so that
Okay.
DNR doesn't have a problem with.
Yeah, we've got,
Topsoil.
we'll talk further about that, we've gotta
So-
go do a little bit of grading on it and knock it down and level it a little bit and seed it.
Turf maintenance then?
We did some bidding initially and,
It was high.
yeah, sure.
Anyone have connections? Heard you in Tennessee?
Local company who's gonna volunteer.
That's
I'll
great.
bring a tractor down and clean it up,
Okay.
but I'm not gonna seed it. There gotta be a farmer around here that would bring this drill seeder over and we just buy the seed and
Yeah, go talk to Gene Jennings. Lives over in the homesteads, used to have a sod farm right outside Granger for 40 years. Yeah, still there, he just doesn't own it anymore. So,
But, yeah, we need to get that, we need to get something on it, get some growth with it, get some seed mixed in, and hopefully by fall, there's enough cover as the kids can start using the grass areas. Be iffy if we get that done, accomplished.
yeah, see what the weather does.
Yeah. Any other questions for Alicia?
what's the mowing situation like? Did you speak earlier in the conversation that mowing was still gonna be handled by you guys, but you guys own a zero turn now, or did I misunderstand that?
Mowing would be part-time seasonal
Just
person.
seasonal labor.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay, so how do we maintain this zero turn then?
That would be,
That's
that
where-
would be where
okay.
our.
That's where you guys
yeah,
come in.
Yeah.
We would store it
Yeah.
We move,
and operate it every day?
we move numbers from labor, vehicle, from parks to streets. It's all general fund.
Yeah.
We gotta work together, we gotta help, you know?
Right,
But
right,
just,
right, right.
yeah. If Alicia is willing to take over the scheduling and this needs mowed, this needs trimmed, the fertilizing, watering, I would gladly take that beating off my back.
You may want to talk with Zach over at Sunrise Sheds and see if he wants to give us a heavily discounted shed. It's an advertising opportunity for him as well.
Is he in Granger?
No, he's over in between Dallas Center and Panora, basically, out there on Highway 44.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. He'll just deliver it, drop it, and drive away.
Sweet. I assume, well, it's over 2,500, so I would
Yeah.
have to get 3 estimates
Yep.
minimum.
Anything else for her?
Thank you.
Streets?
Okay, do I need to move or can I sit right here? Oh, I don't need that right in front of me. You can hear me. And I got 6 minutes to get us back on track, so let's roll. Streets. I'm gonna go through mine a little different than everybody else has so far. If anything's gone up, I'll let you know. If you have any questions, please let me know. Streets, salaries, that is Hunter, I've always been 25, in the past, I've been 25% out of parks, 25% out of road use tax, water and sewer, just split across the top. Hunter and the other three guys have come out of 75% parks, water, sewer, 25% road use tax to cover snow removal on any streets and help with that. So with the wanting to do the seasonal thing that Alicia talked about a little bit, the 54,000, the 19% increase overall in streets is a lateral move out of parks into streets, since we're moving the labor, the uniform allowance, vehicle operations, vehicle repair and maintenance. We'd always just kind of split that stuff. Vehicles is trucks. It's not lawnmower, weed eaters, that files underneath the equipment line. So the 4 items that have gone up in the streets came from parks. So if you take those off of my current streets budget, my increase for this year is a net 0.
Any questions on any of that?
Is there any plan to do some improvements on some roads around town?
A little bit.
Okay,
I'd like to overlay a couple blocks here and there this summer.
okay.
Yep.
How about repairing of curbs?
We
There
can
are
do that.
several,
I need to get enough to get somebody in here.
Yeah.
Getting somebody to come in and replace 2-3 foot chunks of curb
yeah, that,
isn't, yeah, I know exactly, yeah.
yep.
I know exactly where you're talking, in the different neighborhoods, and yeah. Getting enough to justify a truck to come in, and then trying to find a contractor it's not fun work.
Right.
Trying to find a contractor
It's
that
too
wants
small of a job
to
for
break
them
all
to
that
care
stuff
about.
out, and yep. I get a lot of, oh yeah, we'll come look at it, and then I never get a price.
Yep.
So yeah, street's pretty straightforward, nothing,
What's the lost mean? Like below the insurance and stuff?
that's the local option sale, the 1 cent sales tax, local option sales tax money.
Yeah, we had
That
it,
over the course of, 22 to 20, well, it was 21 to 25, the vehicles was the 2 5,500 grams that we plow snow with that need to go bye-bye. But we paid for those on a 5-year note, about 40 grand a year. And then I can't remember, what was the 50,000 in street repair? I don't remember what I did then.
was that Willow?
That was Willow, the mud jacking on Willow that was needed to keep that street.
But there isn't
from falling in.
nothing coming out of lost this year
Yeah.
for streets.
So if you do street repair, I guess where, is that in the expense line?
Streets, most of the street repair isn't gonna come out of streets, it's gonna come out of the next page, road use tax.
Gotcha.
That's a larger fund, and I've got that sitting for those larger things. I try and keep streets to a minimum, being it's the only budget that I run out of the general fund. Everything else is kind of proprietary to its money in, has to stay with that.
Yeah, so everything within road use has to be used on roads. It's money coming in that's proprietary only to road use.
So does Bob get paid out of streets?
No,
Engineering?
does Bob get paid out of streets? Oh, no.
I think.
Depends on if it's I don't know, city project versus a developer project. Anything that
Right.
Bob does for us for like new development, the developers reimburse or.
Yeah, like Sycamore and all that is coming out of a capital improvement plan. It's our project, it's not part of the
Yeah.
streets.
What was the Willow project, or where's the engineering stuff that he does?
If
Like
it was for
Willow
Willow, it
would,
did.
Willow would
Yeah.
come out of streets.
So some
Yeah.
stuff does.
Correct.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that might be the only project he's been involved in that wouldn't have been part of a capital improvement project and bond payments or financing like that.
yeah, and that new development engineering is for any developments that going in the engineering comes, we pay out of the streets, but then I invoice those developers and get that money back. So we're basically paying Eastern Chem for those fees, but we're getting that back from the developer. And it's
So-
on the revenue portion, which you'll see when we bring it.
Kind of
back
like
to-
we talked about the grants earlier.
Correct.
It's about
I
the same
mean,
thing. Yes, it's 50 in my budget, but if that money is,
Yeah.
if that is spent, we get it back from the developer. So
Right.
it's a wash.
Yeah. So I just kind of keep that separate from the actual engineering, so you can, I like to keep track of what I'm spending for what we pay out for the new developments.
And then anything that Bob does, water, sewer, of course, comes out of the engineering lines out of those budgets for like the water tower project or the lift station that we just opened bids for today, stuff like that would be either water, sewer, or part of those projects.
Yep.
Any other questions on road use? Gonna go on to the water?
Did you cover those?
Did you not go over road use?
No, we didn't go over road use.
All right.
Any
Well,
questions on road use?
sorry.
Yeah.
I thought you
I
turned
kept it
out.
about the same as I did last year. Road use is, what's it figured at this year? $140 a head, you said? That's based
Right.
off the last census we get. So this year, we're expected to bring in $231,500. And I've budgeted just a shy of 190, so we will add to the road use tax reserves that we're currently sitting on. I don't like to zero-based budget these if I don't need it. I'd rather come back, if we have to do a section of road or something, I'd rather come back and say, hey, I need to spend $100,000, but I have it it's in reserves, rather than think, oh, we might need it, you know. If it's out there, it's more likely to get spent. If we have to think about it a little bit, we won't.
So if it's not used,
It
where-
stays in road use tax, like
And it
a
carries over?
savings account, yeah, yep, yeah. Road use tax, water and sewer are that way. Anything that's not spent, water, sewer revenue, anything that's not spent goes into reserves.
As of FY '25, did you write that number down? It was like 300 and some in that fund.
Road use?
Yeah.
384, I think,
Was it 384?
something like that?
Yeah. So on the balance sheet that's part of your packets, your council meeting packets, it shows all the fund balances on there. So if you go back and look at the one from the meeting that we just had on the 14th, it's part of my report. I think it's after the library report's in there. It's part of the consent agenda, but you'll be able to see what the fund balances are, and you'll see where we're currently at with road use tax.
And the same with water and sewer.
Same with
Yeah.
water, sewer,
If you look at
yes.
those, don't get excited by adding all the sewer ones together. The top one that just says sewer is actually
Right.
that. The rest of it is stuff
Yeah,
that
some are
Kristen has to
negative,
keep.
and it's because I keep track of all the different projects that we got going on, like the water tower, Sycamore Street, the infrastructure that we're gonna be putting, the southeast sanitary sewer, all those I keep track, but they're under sewer and they're under water, but I keep track of them separately. So sometimes they go negative, because if I don't have the money coming in yet, or I haven't received that money, it's gonna be that way. And then when we're done with that project, I will move that over into the actual water fund that you'll see. So, yeah, it's a little confusing, but it's the first number on the balance sheet when you see that. That's his true water fund balance, if that makes sense.
And then as our population increases, the funding goes up, right?
Yes.
There.
Some of them.
Well, yeah, that's why we want to look at
Road
your
use
special-
tax.
Road use census, we're gonna redo that, we're applying to redo that census. In theory, water and sewer go up. If the population increases and households increase or businesses increase, we sell more water, which that is a, you know, that is a focus now. You know, we built a new tower because we weren't maintaining the DNR required storage space. You know, average 100 gallon per your population. So, you know, we needed to boost that. Well, now we've got a 100,000 gallon tower, a 40 and a 350. We'll eventually wean the 40 gallon off and shut it down, but we need rooftops and we need businesses to sell water to.
Yeah, unfortunately, road use tax only will base it off your last census, even though we're probably over that 2,000 mark or around the 2,000 mark. That's why we're looking into, let's just get an estimate on how much it would be to have a special census, to try to get some of that money, if we can, for maybe 3 years.
Any questions on any line items for road use?
The big one I'll probably be coming back with after we get through this on road, will be road use, would be a plow truck. So, with the annexation and stuff, like I talked at the last council meeting, we gotta do something, but I didn't want to muddy the waters with this and be doing that at the same time as this. These are a lot more important to get done and get through, and then knowing that road use tax is sitting there with the ability to make that purchase when we need to.
How big of a truck are you thinking though?
Like the Peterbilt that we got rid of, that single axle dump truck with a blade and salter, and as
One
we
of
pick,
those orange internationals that goes up and down 17.
something like that side, yeah. As we pick up east annexation up 110th and some of that stuff, and just the ability to clear roads in town, we miss having that dump truck.
Yeah.
The amount of roads we could clear and the time we could do versus pickups, it was, yeah.
And right now you just do it with a pickup?
We've got 4 trucks that we're using right now, yeah. On to water. Has anybody got anything else on road use?
I'm good.
I think what I did different in water. Christie, you're gonna have to print these bigger next year.
Sorry. I'll print them
I
huge.
can't see. Kicking myself for spending money on LASIK that didn't hold up. The only thing, I'm down, water and sewer kind of are what they are, their operating cost. I don't add anything or try and do anything over and above what we need to do on those, knowing that rates are high enough as it is, so.
Speaking of that, can you answer a question as to why there was a jump here recently? There have been several people questioning why is their water bill?
I saw that, I have no idea.
Okay.
I put the water out of the water plant and through the distribution system, I don't
The
do the
only-
billing.
The only changes we would have is if there was an adjustment based upon our bonding capacity, and I'd have to look at that schedule. I'd
3%, I thought.
3% adjustment
When did they
based
do
upon
that?
our
That was
bonding
in July.
council.
Okay, nothing recently, Dan.
July?
Yeah,
No, there's a lot of people, myself included, looking at our recent bill going, this is $20 more than what it was.
but what's the dollar?
The-
What's your
The
usage?
usage is the same, right around
Okay.
4,000 gallons from my house. But
Yeah.
the bill is like, whoa, why did it jump all of a sudden? And that was here recently over the past, well, with the last bill that we got. And I'm not the only one that noticed it. There's been several people on Facebook that have been questioning it, and I didn't know if there was any.
I will say it'd be a lot easier to
Quick
look
answer.
into if people would contact us for it, instead of
Right.
just going to Facebook and
Oh, yeah.
complaining.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We can't do anything about it if we're not made aware of it.
You mean you're not an admin at Facebook?
No.
Oh, okay.
I'll give it to Karen, but I'll have her look at yours specifically and just see what's happening there. But-
Sure, yeah, mine would be exemplary of whatever it
Correct,
is.
yeah.
Sure. Yep.
Yep, we'll be in touch. I'm pretty sure that was, the last one
Should've
was
been,
July.
yeah.
There wasn't one in January, were there? No. I'm trying to think back to, I'd have to look at that.
Just go look at the bonding
Yeah.
schedule.
Karen does that, remember? That's why she comes out of
I
my sewer
know,
budget.
I'll look. Tomorrow.
Complete sidetrack, sorry about that.
Oh, you're fine. Everything in water I left pretty much the same. The only major change was adding a line for water meters. We've never really paid attention to, not paid attention, but water meters always come out of operating supplies. Most of our half of our water meters are new construction and new buildings. We get that back on the revenue side, so I kind of wanted a way to be able to keep track for now, what are we actually spending on meters, and then we'll be able to see what we're getting back in building permits and what the net cost is. You could see last year I had 30 in operating supplies. This year I dropped that 10, but I added 20 to water meters. We are starting to get into the end of the life cycle on the batteries and the radio reads on our water meters. We're picking up 10 to 15, 18 a month when we read water meters that the batteries are dead and we can't read, so we're having to buy new radios and go back in and put those in. That's just it's a sunk cost of doing business, unfortunately.
So is there a sensor on every house and like someone just walks by and
We
scans?
drive, yep, just a lot, handheld tablet, drive around and they ping and, yeah. I'd like to look at technologies changing a little bit. I've had a couple different sales reps call me. I haven't met with any of them yet, but cellular read is becoming more popular. I don't know what the cost would be, but then it's automatic back to City Hall. Nobody in a truck spending 2.5 hours driving around town super slow, and everybody wondering what the city guy's doing when he's just creeping around town with the antenna out the window of the truck.
Good news is we know the approximate lifespan of those batteries now, 15 to 17 years.
10 to 15, they say, yeah, yep. Yeah, and unfortunately, we're seeing it, so. It's frustrating when we lose those, and then Karen has a heck of a time getting people to return phone calls, and why do you need our house, why do you need it in our house, you know, there's nothing wrong. Just trying to explain to everybody it's more of a hassle than anything. It's not difficult to go in and change, a 10-minute process to get in and make the change, but just ask, you know, it's like waiting for the cable guy, when can you be off work to do it?
It's gonna take you 10 minutes to get to mine, just so you know.
Well, I'll reschedule and you'll be taking another day off work after you get your closet cleaned out. Been there.
Yep.
I don't know if you want.
No, so that, any questions on water?
Are these just loans?
Those are all, yeah, water plant, water main,
I'm sorry, what was?
underneath mine, water, underneath my expenses, he's asking about the interest principal bonds.
Yep.
What those are for. I know one's water plant, one's a water main.
The 2009 is the
Extension.
water plant.
Yeah,
The 2024 is your water tower.
okay. In the 2020 we added 2 additional water filters at the water plant to increase capacity.
Yep, but that's all paid off with,
Oh,
we're not paying,
hey,
that's
all right.
part of the debt
Oh, it is.
service.
I see
That's
that
in
now.
another line, it's not out of water, it's out of debt service.
Okay.
This might be a question for a different meeting, but like water quality, like are there things that we can do to help better, I guess, water quality? Or is
What's
that
wrong with the water quality right now that we would like better?
Well, I just don't know. I just didn't know if that's like a thing that we do, if it like, if my water smelled like bleach, is that something we try to like fix, or is that
That's
kinda
just
what
a
it is?
day-to-day unfortunate incident,
Right.
yeah,
So I
yep.
assume the water table's like below the ground, or just kinda
We
is
pull
what
out
it
of
is.
wells, yep, and then we inject chlorine and, yeah.
We've got a fairly protected water source. So we pull out of an aquifer that's southwest of town. So we've got a fairly protected source. We're not pulling out of the Des Moines River or anything, so. And we've got a pretty long road ahead to be able to pull out of that. So the city could add a third well with demand. You know, if we need to produce more water, we can we have 2 wells now, and we could put a third.
Unfortunately, pulling out of the aquifer well water, it's extremely hard. Short of ponying up the cash to put in and softening at the water plant, we got what we got for water. I mean, I get the chlorine, that type of thing, that shouldn't happen. It does from time to time. That's just to control.
Also, we've been doing stuff with circular, I don't know what Bob calls it, where the water isn't sitting in pipes because it only goes one direction, that
Right.
circulates. so it keeps-
Looping mains and getting rid of
Yeah.
dead ends, and yeah,
So that's
we've done a lot of
doing that
that.
over the last few years.
Yeah, we've done a lot of looping so that pipes aren't sitting at the end of a block and not moving. They also added 2 more filters and put new media on the filters. So the plant's operating much more efficiently now than it was even 2 years ago, so.
If we could get Greenland to finish up over here, it would help. Maple, birch, just those are long. I don't know where you live, but maple and birch are my 2 headaches right now. They're such a long way from Sycamore to the dead end, and you know, morning use and evening use, and then everybody's at work during the day type of deal. If we can get, the plans are with Greenland finishing up all that, we'll tie in and loop together with over by Grandwood. And so when we're talking about this, remember all these developers that come in and want to do nothing but cul-de-sacs. Because we don't loop cul-de-sacs, so.
It's good?
Yep.
And then sewer's kind of the same way, virtually no change. Just doing our thing on the wastewater side, so.
Josh, new hire, or?
Yeah, yep. Yeah, that was the jump in insurance, was going from a single guy to a married with kids.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, that's water. Sewer's only got 2, yeah, water's got 5. Under the age of, oh, we asked him and he didn't know, remember? I can't remember. 3, yeah.
One of our public works guys had triplets
Yeah,
and then twins right after, like what, a year and a half?
if that, just barely, yeah. Yeah.
And one thing to note on that 2009 water plant bond will come off in a couple years, so that'll
Did you
be
say
nice too.
2028?
That
Yeah.
was my question. How close are we?
We're very close.
Nice. Now I don't have a
Until the
question.
next thing, no. But yeah, so it's something to note under the water anyway, so that'll help a little bit.
Hard to ask questions when it stays the same. We got anything on the sewer?
Yeah, we're lucky, I mean, yeah, not lucky, I guess, but water plant, sewer plant are both new-ish, that there's just not a lot of expense on repairs and stuff yet. Most of anything that we're doing, water or sewer, is new infrastructure that's wrapped up in financing on other means, so.
That is located in the same place, basically.
Yeah, both south, straight south Casey's, within half a mile of each other.
Where are we at on the building?
If, as I said, sorry, if anybody, I talked to Kirk about this a couple times too, if anybody wants to get together after work, somebody and just check, come look and see what we've got, what we do. Yeah, I mean, there's probably not a one of you besides Jared that sits up here that has any idea what's out south of town as far as water, wastewater plants, facilities we've got throughout town. And anybody ever wants to go check them out, let me know.
And part of what's driving our need for growth is we have a water plant and a sewer plant to meet growth demands, and they're big enough to manage a bigger population. The way to spread these bond payments out is to grow. Is, to lower your water rates, lower your sewer rates. We need more rooftops. We need more businesses in town. We need to sell more water. So that's kind of what drives that. Allows us to embrace that growth.
I ain't got nothing.
Sorry, Jared, what were you gonna ask? I cut you off.
About a building,
Yeah.
a building out by the plant.
You come up with the money, I'll have her built.
So part of that need's gonna be driven by this Main Street program, so we're exploring how do you, because we've got the brick one-car garage public safety building, then we've got...
Public Works.
Sorry, I guess they're the same thing, one's on wheels with...
Yeah.
But, yeah, so we have a block public works building, no restroom facilities, one-car garage. Then we've got City Hall, Fire and EMS. How do you get all of that back on the tax rolls? Get City Hall and Fire and EMS and police in a public safety building, and then put that facility back on the tax rolls. So we've been tossing out that concept, but Aaron at some point needs to start what's the next phase of putting a building. He has cold storage down there today. Now water has its own facility, and then sewer has its own facility, but not, it's not a maintenance garage or anything. So we do have cold storage down there now that is kind of a maintenance shed, and then we have a salt coverage down there, but we're looking at what's a building down there look like, when do we start planning for that so we can move all of his campus down there and get us out of Main Street, get City Hall, Fire, Police, EMS out of that location, sell that location, get it back on the tax rolls. We're exploring, what funding opportunities are out there right now with grants and other planning so that we can kind of boost that process. So we may look at budgetary, what size building do you want? What's it gonna cost? Do we do it on over time? Do we bite the bullet and put it up? We need to be having those discussions.
It'd be really nice to not have more than a one-car garage to run the public works for a town of 2,000 out of.
Yeah. And it'd be nice to have him out of downtown. I know it's convenient when you need to go somewhere, but as we grow, the vision is to have a downtown business center, not have us on Main Street.
Any ideas, Jared?
Talk with Emily, she seems to find grants.
She's chasing them.
She is.
Yeah.
No, I think it just needs to go on our capital planning list.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't want to say piecemeal it together because that sounds kind of hackish, but I don't think there's anything wrong with
Yeah.
putting up the shell the size of the building and then maybe finish it off in corners or whatever. But
Probably good in the next, I don't know if you can write too quick to do in February, but probably need to bring to the council at some point the size you're thinking, what you're needing, get some average costs together, and
Well, that could vary.
talk for a
Are we gonna
plan.
get an engineer like public safety, or do I just have to find
I
prices?
think right
on
now
10
go
shed?
get some costs.
Okay.
Just go get some numbers without, we don't need to engineer it yet.
So do we set water and sewer prices? then?
Yep,
Yes.
yep. Based upon our costs to operate, based upon capital improvements. Some of the, we try to pay for what we do out of water rates and out of sewer rates. So based upon what that bond payment is, what the operating costs are, plus a little bit of reserve that we're required to keep back, that's kind of in a nutshell how we set. We work with bonding council to Travis Squires to set those rates. But part of managing that over time is growth. You know, costs typically tend to go up each year for operating, and we need to keep growing as a community to bring those down. Sewer's never a revenue maker. I mean, you can get to a point that if you have some good end users on water, you can sell a lot of water and offset. Sewer's kind of a necessary thing for the community to have, and it's never a revenue generator, but water can hold its own if you grow adequately.
Anything else for Aaron? Thank you, sir.
Good enough.
Thank you.
It's like it's you, Joe.
I will be a lot quicker than Aaron.
I tried.
And I promise I will be. Aaron told us he would be, but. There's just some, read later, just an overview of the department. If you have questions, I know some of you guys are new, may have questions. If you have any questions after reading that, just get with me. Discuss it. And on the back of it is a quote for what we're gonna go over here shortly. The police budget really did not change much except for salaries increase. We just did the standard raise, normal 5% for everybody except for Chris Nouse. But he started, we were already in budget season, and he picked up as the salary from our kid that just graduated the academy. So he was super low. He's still lower than the rest of it, but it gets him a little bit closer to where we're at. And then the other change is we're looking to purchase a third vehicle. We're not gonna get rid of one. We're gonna get a third police vehicle. And we're looking at possibly leasing it, like we did the truck. Like we just went to eBank, and we pay once a year. We do have to pay interest on that. I don't know what the interest was, a couple thousand, wasn't it? The eBank was the lowest around, and they worked great with us. Either that or we could just purchase it outright, but that's also a large chunk of money just outright, you know? I mean, you could use local option sales tax, or, I mean, that's up to you guys. But, or we could also lease it. And part of that leasing, we went up, it was $32,000 in this, but some of you guys may not know, we partner with the school as a school resource officer, and the school is increased it to 20 hours, and they're gonna be paying us roughly around $35,000 next year. So our increase, I used that money that the school was gonna pay us, and that's with that vehicle lease. Does that make sense? So really, our budget did not go up, I think. Well, it went up about 35,000, but we're getting reimbursed.
Cost is gonna be taken care of.
So it's evening out. That's pretty close, right, Christie?
We've asked both Joe and Public Works to bring you estimates on when they'll rotate vehicles, how many miles, how many hours, and we'll at a meeting here in the near future get you that, what the typical rotation will be.
I got my vehicles in there, the two vehicles we got with the mileage, and just kind of a typical rotation. I put 4 to 6 years, depending on vehicle and use that year. I mean, every year we could be different, you know, we just never know. And there was some talks, I don't know, I'll just go over this real quick. Some talks about Polk County. I did the numbers myself, looked at their contracts. You're saving, I wrote it down, just give me a second. $128,000 by keeping us. You'd pay for 3 deputies, you'd pay $128,000 more than what you pay for us. So I think you're getting a heck of a deal. A lot better service as well. Not saying Polk County is not great. The deputies I've worked with have been awesome. But you get the new deputies, young deputies, and that's who works in these small towns, because they become a deputy because they want to explore the whole county. They don't want to work a small town.
What if we end up liking them better, Joe?
What's that?
What if we end up liking them better?
You might. They probably have a better personality than me. Probably nicer than me. I'm not that nice.
Oh, okay.
See him laugh.
So for the SRO, right now you're obviously going between 2 schools, and then later this year you'll go between 3 with the new middle school.
Yeah, we'll be going up there to the middle school as well, and that's why they kind of increased the hours. So, and during that time when we are in the school, I'm always available for Granger. So just give me a call and I'll be right here. And it'll be a lot easier next year because the middle school will be right here. We have one other school outside of town that we have to worry about. The rest of them, Grandwood, middle school, ELC, elementary is all right here, which is great. And the high school, I don't know if anybody's been around the high school anymore, but seniors and juniors, it's been like half a day there and then they're gone.
Mm-hmm.
The high school's like empty. So, any questions on the police budget? I was kind of going through the years of service too as police. Chris Naus, he's been a police officer for 41 years. 41 years. And Brett, 25 years. And I've been 19 civilian and then 6 in the military. So 25 total. So we have a lot of experience. Almost 100 years. I mean, we're old, but I still could get around and bust criminals if I have to.
So is there a reason why Woodward, I guess, doesn't use a person from Woodward as an SRO for the high school versus like using someone from Granger?
We were asked, they
The school-
approached us and we aggressively went after it.
And I'm going to brag a little bit, but the superintendent and I got a pretty good relationship, and he said if it wasn't me, it wasn't going to happen. Does that make sense?
Sure.
Like, I have a great relationship with the school, with the students. I've been teaching DARE for the students for a while, and I think it proves that the school wanted to increase the hours of how happy they are.
Just see how many kids interact with you at a football game.
Yeah.
Every week.
Yeah. You know, if you ever want to get a confidence boost, just go over to the ELC. Those kids love cops. I'm like, man, I'm cool here. And then I go home and I'm not so cool. But or the middle school kids, they're nice.
I have another question. So for like revenue, so if someone was like pulled over on a county or a state highway here, is our ordinance coded that the city of Granger gets the money, or does it go to county?
It is not.
Or
So
state.
it goes through the county and the state, and you can do it. You can put in your ordinance to where you get some of the money. But what that also does is if somebody chooses to fight that ticket, we're hiring our city attorney to go represent us at court at, I don't know what our attorney costs, but I know something's $200 an hour for $90 that we're gonna get, if that. So if we go through the county, it's the county attorney that fights it. But, and I worked at a town that wanted us to switch to city, and we did, but everybody fought it, and then a year later, they're like, yeah, let's go back to the other way.
Yeah, it's not worth it.
Any worth the money.
We'd have to pay to fight any tickets, and the cost to hire an attorney is more than you earn from the fine.
I'm not sure if this is a question for you or really for who, but what happened to the automated speed measuring devices that were on 17 and 141?
The state.
Okay.
The state put in a moratorium that they're not allowed for 2 years.
Or are you just talking about the travel?
The-
They
the-
keep blowing over.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that, one was hit by a car, actually, and then
Okay.
another one, the wind snapped.
We've had probably 4 snapped by
Yeah.
wind.
Yeah.
I mean, they
I
just,
remember the one on 17 would always rotate and be looking the wrong
Yeah, that was the
direction.
wind.
Yeah.
We'd get out there and rotate it, and that one out there, 17 was super high, the north one.
Yeah.
But, yeah, just this last winter storm, expedition or excursion took it out.
Okay.
And those were donated by the state to us.
yeah, we're working on getting those replaced.
And I put in that packet I gave you, just kind of what the schedule we were working, you know, a little bit about the department. So we're covered, we have somebody out every day. And like I said, I'm always on call. When you get old, you don't have much of life, so you're usually home. And you know, the third vehicle, it helps because like if we have one down, me always being on call, my vehicle's here. So I have to come and grab that vehicle when my guy's off work, or just come in when I get the call, and that's another 15, 20 minutes. And my response time from when I get a call at home, from like, let's say 3 o'clock that morning to when I'm at the residence is about 10 minutes. That's from a dead sleep. I got it down, set out my pants, boots, and but I'm pretty proud of us handling all our calls. I mean, you probably heard me say it many times, but I'm proud of it. Because there's other small towns around here that do not. As somebody's brought up a town up the street, it's a mess up there.
Yeah, the value of having them is great. I mean, we've had some recent incidents where we needed someone's presence, and it's nice to be able to call and they're right there.
Yeah, it is. Are you working with, is it Granger Motors or Willis, or as far as the third vehicle, is that something that?
So
we stay
the
local, or-
price we're getting is the state contract price. So I have not talked to them. We've talked to them in years past, and they can't beat the state contract price.
Truck, SUV?
That's probably the cheapest vehicle we can get, and that's why we went with the Explorer.
Okay.
And we got a truck last time, and it was a little bit more, not much, but I think every small town
Yeah.
needs a truck. I've used this truck numerous times. But we'll just have one, and the rest, we're gonna transition to Explorers.
Just to touch on this, and I'm not saying I'm for or against it right now by any means, but if you guys entertain buying another vehicle, our past history with buying a used vehicle is not good.
No,
So,
that's, we've been.
That's, I know, you're quoting a new one, but like, you know, your Tahoe, how we were misled with the, not by you.
I'm like, I have nothing to do with this.
Right, I know, but we bought that with the presumption that it had been gone through and everything else, and we've dumped how many thousands of dollars into that on just nickel and dime things?
Well, that's, to be honest, that's any public safety vehicle starts getting any kind of mileage on it and stuff. You know, like our Tahoe had to have a water pump. And these streets in this town eat up tires. It's a slow churning on these pebbled roads, and they just, so we tried different tires this time and tried to see if we could.
I guess my point was, if that's an idea storming around in somebody's head, we've lived that, let's not do that mistake again.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Perfect.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you.
All yours.
Thank you for sitting through this. You guys might as well come up together.
She's like,
She's like, what, have to?
She's saying, I thought you told me to be here at 6:30.
No, the day starts.
There's two there.
Yep. I want to see it. It's going on a year. It's going on a year.
No, not yet.
Well, the winter is started.
All right. So salaries, we're at 37,000 this year, moved up to 42,000. That's mostly, as you can see in the trend, first half of the year, we weren't making as many calls, and over the last 6-7 months, we've made a lot more. So with that being said, we've got more responders coming. We've also we're showing up, so that's the good thing. I'd also like to increase officer stipends and pay. Right now, the fire chief's making $700 a month. Deputy EMS chief is making $600. Deputy fire chief's making $500. Captain's making $300. Lieutenants are making $200. Like to increase those. So that to that. Also, so when we work a shift at the station, we're paid an hourly rate. Also, when we go on a call, we're paid an hourly rate. We'd like to raise those wages for the officers as well. So, for example, right now I'm making $22 an hour. Chief Durner's making $24. We'd like to increase those wages as well. And then we'll get into this with EMS, but a 3% raise for individuals that have been here over the last year. So uniforms, I decreased that by 1,000. I hope that we don't get a new logo over the next year.
We're not getting a logo over the next year.
So this will just be to sustain what we've got, replace, any t-shirts or polos that we might need. Dues and subscriptions stayed the same. Education stayed the same. Building repair and maintenance, that also stayed the same. Vehicle repair and maintenance, that stayed the same as well. Equipment repair and maintenance, that did not change. Same with utilities, telephone, insurance, storage, technology. Contracted services, so this is, we're dispatched by Polk County Dispatch right now. So they charge us to be dispatched by them. It's going to go up another $500 over the next year, so we increased that by $500. So they'll charge us, I think it's $10,000 annually for the year. So EMS pay for half, fire pay for half out of that. Minor equipment did not change. Office supplies did not change. Operating supplies did not change. And then postage, we increased that, obviously with our new, with Emily Blair being public relations coordinator, she's been sending out more letters and all that, so we're just increasing that by a little bit. We did do $10,000 for grants. One thing I do want to make you guys aware of, after 2027, all of our air packs expired. So that being said, that's about $200,000, which is a big pill to swallow. We're going to, over the next year, we're going to start looking for grants. If we need to buy a couple packs here and there, that's what we're going to do. But we might need some assistance next year's budget with that.
We'll put all that on we'll follow up here in a month or so and do a capital improvements plan evening.
Yep.
And we'll make sure and add that in.
Okay.
And then start targeting.
Yep.
What can be grant, what could be fundraising, what could maybe someone step up and contribute, so.
Yep.
You might be shocked, but Emily's already working on a grant for
I'm
some
not
of those.
shocked. We'll have a discussion later when ours comes up. Probably need to do something. Emily Blair's chasing enough grants for us that it's worth working out some type of compensation. Been working pretty close with her the last month on, I think you're seeing a lot of those emails, Mayor, and she's chasing and she's fantastic at writing them.
Yeah.
So her and Alicia have been partnering some, and so we've taken a huge boost in that area. It'd probably be worth, the one grant she wrote, we got, yeah,
something like
yeah,
that.
$67,000.
Yeah, that's for my life pack and my 280s.
Yeah.
And I think that grant sheet projected 32 hours is what she put into it. And they asked for the compensation part of it, assuming that we would get some of that back for her, but we did not. It all just, we didn't pay for that grant at all. It just covered the life pack and the 280s. So.
We should look at getting vehicles on a rotation, kind of like PD and Public Works. Our tender is gonna be 20 years old this year. The engine, 15 years old. The Durango's 13 years old, so, all that probably needs to get into some sort of.
Can you, in the past, we've asked for this, can you bring us, at what point is it appropriate to rotate, and at what point do they run out of certification? So there are two questions the council asked. When is a general rotation? When is it a must?
Okay.
Could we also get like the current stats on all the vehicles with like mileage and all that
Yep.
in the years?
You want that by next week?
I don't think I care about mileage on a vehicle like that. I care about engine hours. Is there any way to get engine hours?
We can get them off of the engines, and then we should be able to get pump hours for you too.
So aside from vehicles and air tanks,
Yep.
what stuff do you guys have that is going to need to be replaced over time? Like, do you know lifespan on that kind of thing? And because if we can get a big picture, I think that's going to help.
Yeah.
Budget out. Okay, we know every year.
Sure.
This is kind of what like an air tank. What's lifespan on an air tank?
It's 15 years.
15. Okay.
Yep, so, Rob, he was the one that got their tanks last time. I think they got a grant from Firehouse Subs, it was like $90,000.
Okay.
So, for all the tanks that we have now, obviously inflation, doubled in price, so, new technology, all that, so.
Yeah. But I know like bunker gear,
Yeah, bunker gear.
masks, helmets.
Yep, 10 years. Right now we've got some non-certified individuals and expired helmets because we don't have enough helmets. So we'll have to continue to purchase that as they get their certifications, and then it's about $400 a helmet.
Okay.
I think it was
A
about,
full set of gear is about $8,000.
yeah, $8,000 for a
From
set.
boots to gloves to helmet
Okay.
per person.
And we've got 31 people on the department, so.
Yeah. No, I think a rotation is
Yep.
great for all that stuff. I think it would be helpful for us and future council
Yep.
if we know what all those things are, what the lifespan is, and kind of what we're looking at.
Sure. And we do have, we've been tracking all of our gear, so like we know that Tyler Hall's gear expires in 2030. So we have all
Yeah.
that tracked right now. so.
Perfect.
Are there any services that will do that rotation automatically for us, like leasing services? What I'm thinking right now is gym equipment. You can either buy it if you own the gym, or you can lease it, and they swap you every 2 years. Is there a service like that for this type of equipment?
I don't believe so on like the life safety equipment, like the gear and all that. Maybe with the vehicles, I don't know. I'd have to do more research on that. But like with Joe's situation, we could look into leasing vehicles. I don't think we could probably lease a fire truck, but
we could
Oh, I'm
lease
not,
them.
I'm
You're
talking.
strictly like.
You're talking
I'm
about
talking
air
about
tanks or,
yeah,
you know, the
the
stuff that's-
uniform and the air tanks and stuff like that. That is just an annual fee, and we can easily budget for that. But then they swap you out as personnel leaves. We send the equipment back. As we need personnel, they ship it to us overnight, something like that.
Okay.
I don't know if there's any type of service like that.
I can talk to our vendor and see what he knows.
Okay.
And just go from there, get that to you.
The 31 people, is that between fire and EMS?
Yep, so we've got 2 individuals that are not dual, so they're EMS only, so one being chief and then Emily. Everyone else is dual.
And then we have full-time, part-time, and volunteers?
So we've got part-time staff, Monday through Saturday. They are dual certified, so they'll respond to fire or EMS calls. And that's from 7:30 to 5, Monday through Saturday. And then after that, it's people responding from home or on call.
And then do we pay for certifications for all 31 people?
So a lot of these people the part-time staff that we've hired have come in with their certifications, mostly EMS certifications. We've sent some to fire. It's a $50 testing fee for them. So we do give them the gear, obviously, to go do the testing and training, but we spend $50 to get them tested.
We're pretty cautious on the EMS side.
Yep.
Right now, we take a hard look at who we're training to get on EMS, because we don't want to train them and then
They jump.
Right, that's what I was gonna ask next, if there's a lot of churn on people that we,
Anybody that I have sent to school, I have them sign our contract first that says they work, I think, 18 months for EMT after their completion, or they pay it back. So I know previously it wasn't always done that way, but I have the contract signed before Christy writes the check.
And a lot of the people that were sending these EMS classes are people that live in our community. We have it in the bylaws based on chief officer's discretion, so her and I and Rob will sit down and say, hey, does this make sense? And then we'll send the individual or deny it. So,
and so are you both full-time?
no,
Part-time?
We're,
we
paid
have
on
no
call
full,
part-time.
we have no full-time.
there are no full-time people.
So we get the stipend and then our call response and if we work a shift. So. And a lot of times, we're responding during daytime hours or at night together, so,
Yeah, we have other full-time jobs.
yep.
Gotcha.
I just want to know that, and part of public record now, thank you to both of you. Rebuilding what you've done in the time you've done is bonkers, and I appreciate it more than you guys know.
Been a lot of work.
It's good for Cocoa Puffs what you were left and what we have now,
Yeah.
so.
Well, thank you.
I think there's a lot of people in the community too that you'll never hear from that feel exactly the same way. I know there's people that I go to church with, they're older, and they're like, what's going on with the ambulance? I'm gonna be the one using them, so.
We're pretty lucky, we have a really good staff. I mean, they're all compassionate, they all care. They might not live in the community, some of the part-time staff, but they care. So that's the biggest thing is, we're trying to build a culture where, they want to be here and they want to serve our community. And that, I think we're doing that.
Back when I started in May, my first meeting, I think we had maybe 12 people out of training, and that might have been about all we had at the time. And just talking to everybody, introducing myself, because there was a lot of new people that I hadn't met yet on the fire side. Over the few months of hiring new people, having trainings, monthly trainings. Last night was just amazing because we ordered food for 30 people. We had 27 out of our 31 show up for training. And I was shocked. Like, everybody was there. I mean, majority of everybody was there. It was great. So the camaraderie is just, they're there for the right reasons.
Makes a difference.
For sure.
Do we own everything, or do we lease some stuff, or?
The only thing that we have on lease, if you will, it was donated, but we don't technically own it, is the DNR white pickup truck. And then there's a boat that we don't have currently that we're probably gonna get back, honestly, so.
Do we pay rent on that storage unit?
Oh, and then the storage unit across the street. Right now, we're storing our enclosed trailer out at the water plant, just because we don't have the space. That's probably a discussion that we should all have at some point, is do we want to keep it? In my mind, I don't know if I do, but we can all have that discussion.
The side-by-side you guys have,
Yep.
is that,
In the storage unit.
it's in the storage unit, but it's not leased, that's what, on loan from
I think they,
No, I thought it was ours.
yeah, I think we
Okay.
paid $1 for it, and it was donated.
I wouldn't say, I feel like the
It's a grant.
auxiliary or grant.
It was a grant.
It's a grant,
Yeah.
I
We own it.
believe.
We own it.
Okay.
There's a guy for the DNR that I know pretty well, and I'm bugging him weekly, hey, what do you got, what do you got? So, we're checking our resources, but we also don't want a fleet of 1980 vehicles either, so.
But if he ever does want to get rid of the pickup truck, dibs. Okay.
PMS budget?
Yeah. Chief, you wanna go through this? Okay.
Remote, your thing.
All right. So, we increased the budget for salaries. So we're hoping to staff Sundays. So that would be a substantial. I think if we could get that to that goal, we would be okay for a couple of years, if that makes sense. So we wouldn't have to add. I don't think we would have to add any more hourly staffing. Besides that, I mean, we might want to increase the hours. Maybe a 7 to 7, but a couple hours here and there. But I'm personally not looking at covering the overnights yet.
So we don't staff Sundays currently?
No.
It's just volunteer side. So after 5 p.m., Monday through Saturday, our day staff leave. So from 5 p.m. until 7 p.m., I don't want to say it's a not covered,
7 a.m.,
but
5 p.m. to 7 a.m.
right. But from 5 p.m. until 7 p.m. is when our on-call POC or paid on-call people typically. Other than the people who might work in town, are the ones that are responding from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. And then our weekly, we have paid on-call people that are scheduled every night to be on a night. Like Chief Rummel is on Thursday nights. So his call starts at 7 p.m. until 5 a.m. So from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m., it's kind of like a gray area. Who's going to take the calls? Whoever's in town. And then from 5 a.m. until 7:30 a.m. is the same way, because the people who are on call at night are going to their day jobs until our day shift comes in at 7:30. If that makes sense.
But what's awesome about that is you might be on the on-call, like, you might hear the on-call rotation, like, okay, yeah, there's only 2 people that are responding, but when we get a call, we're getting 5 people. We're getting, a command vehicle, we're getting an ambulance, and usually a fire truck's following down the road. So, I mean, people are coming out of the woodworks for the community.
But the Sunday, so is fire 7 days a week? No.
Yes, so we're dual, so meaning, so if Chief and I are working, we can respond to a fire call, meaning, a fire alarm or a structure fire, or a medical call, based on what we're dispatched to.
But there is nobody working at the station on Sundays. It's strictly on call. Or whoever shows up.
Gotcha.
So we're kind of rolling the dice on Sundays.
And then for the 2 would just be for EMS or still dual purpose?
They will be dual.
Yeah. It just comes out of the EMS budget. That's what we use to staff with. So. One thing I do want to bring up is you might notice that we're a little heavy on salaries this year. We obviously have gone through a rebuild. So with that, we've had to do, I don't know, the first 3-4 months, we were 3 people on shift because we had to get people trained up. So knowing that, we're probably going to exceed the salary budget. Upfront, I won't be upfront with you guys now. And we know that we're probably going to have to save in other line items. So that's the reality unless we want to pull back on staffing.
Where was this presented last year? Or the original presented number? 340?
It was higher.
Higher?
It was higher than this.
Yeah, I know that. I'm just,
Yep.
Yeah, it had the life pack in there for one, that was, and then salaries was pretty high.
Yeah, I can pull that.
I'm not adding a life pack, I already got one for free.
Right. They've done a good job kind of towing the line. They approached me with their tail between their legs and you think we can do this? For what we're accomplishing with EMS and fire, they're doing a fantastic job. And they help us around the office. They're doing a great job.
Are you guys, I know this isn't, are you guys okay with us proceeding the way we're proceeding, or do we need to change anything as of right now, or keep doing what we're doing?
I
I don't know what your question is.
because they're gonna overrun on
go
wages
over.
from what they're budgeted from trying to rebuild from.
Well, what we're looking at is what other line items can we save on?
Yep.
We don't 100% know that yet because we don't know if we have any other repair and maintenance, but we know where we're tracking on salaries is over the monthly year-to-date where we projected, but we're also looking at what line items within the budget can we save on.
And we're using fire as well. I mean,
Yeah.
So,
So roughly,
Yeah, I would say try to save anywhere you can save.
Correct.
yeah, and that's
Yeah.
I
what
think
we're
that's what you're doing.
but you're tracking what, 60,000-ish? 60,000, somewhere in there?
We're tracking about, we'll probably be over 20,000 in salaries.
You got
And we can probably pretty easy find that within the rest of the budget.
Yep. So,
I just really don't want to tell people, don't respond to calls to
No.
help save money, because we're doing so good and people are showing up. I have 3 new EMTs that all need to be a third person in the back. So I need to get my paid-on-call people also trained, so have more people to respond on the on-call hours, so.
Yeah, we're good. We're January, we've got till June 30th for this budget. We'll keep meeting and track it. If I think we're getting too far out of line, we'll bring it to the council and the mayor, but I think
good.
you guys are doing a good job.
Good deal. All right, so discuss salaries, uniforms, we're leaving that about 2,000. I think EMS uses a little more. I'm just kidding. We're gonna leave that one the same. Subscriptions, we increased that by $50. So with Chief winning Provider of the Year, we'd like to start being more involved with IMSA. So that's where these dues come out of. Public education, we did 8,000, so that stayed the same. Vehicle repair and maintenance, sorry, I'm trying to read these.
Sorry.
Equipment,
Building,
make it
oh, yeah.
bigger.
Yeah, you had $500 here for public
Yeah,
relations
500.
education.
Yep. So that's Emily Blair, so we've been doing a lot of public education events, stuff like that. Building repair and maintenance, we increased that to 2,000, or $1,000 this year, just due to our building. You know, we've had some issues with the heat or someone backing into a door. You know, we've had to fix that. Hopefully, we've fixed that internally, but you know, things do break. Vehicle operations, that stayed the same. Equipment repair and maintenance, that stayed the same. Utilities, telephone billing, GEMT insurance, that all stayed the same. Tiering, that's the same as well. Contract services, this is the dispatching again. Minor equipment, that stayed the same. Office supplies, I believe that stayed the same. And operating supplies, that stayed the same. We increased postage by $40 again with sending more stamps and letters out.
Pardon my ignorance, what does GEMT stand for?
I don't know what the term stands for, but it has to do with our billing. It's a program that we belong to that we have to supply them with a whole bunch of information. They go after Medicaid. It's strictly Medicaid, isn't it? They go after and help recoup more money for us. So we have to pay them to do this, but then in the long run, we get money back. So they're helping us get free money. Not free money.
So it's like collections?
Not really collections. It's hard to explain. I mean, they take all the fire apparatus, our ambulance, they do a whole cost analysis, staffing. I mean, it takes a whole bunch of information for the year. And then they do something with it and it goes through the state of Iowa and it helps recoup payment on Medicaid. And I think a specific Medicaid transportation service. Like if we bill X amount, we get this much back, but it's almost like it's a year behind.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So we have to pay for this service, but then we get more than what we're paying them back.
And then I think we had $50,000 in grants as well for EMS. Any questions on fire or EMS?
Do I bring up, like, we're doing that, the collections, I'm hoping to go back.
Yeah, that's the agreement that you guys approved at the January 14th meeting.
And then there was also a lag in CMS Medicare funding it would have been in '24. I think from July to December of '24, our Medicare license lapsed. So there's also, I'm in an appeal process with sending them, working with our billing company to try to rebuild those ambulance trips so we can get some of that money back, and I want to say it's around 15,000.
Yeah, you can see that on her revenue at the bottom of 25, where we only received 38,000. We should be, or 32,000, we should be receiving around 50, 55, somewhere there. But that's because that 6 months of 24 into the FY 25 did not get the Medicare, it was the Medicare, what am I trying to say, not agreement, or whatever, lapsed out or something, and it didn't get worked on and did not get submitted correctly and all that, so.
Yeah, so
we missed out on 6 months of, that's what we're trying to recoup some of that.
Yes, because when I came on in May, that's one of those processes I had to go through and recertify us for that. And now we're going through with the billing company, going back and trying to appeal to CMS to get that money back, or to try to build those trips.
And this agreement also will help with anything, utility billing too, that we are trying to collect, or snow ordinance tickets if people don't pay. I mean, it's for anything that we can, they'll help us go back and collect on these. Plus any unpaid ambulance bills,
Mhm.
so.
And the salary is still, so that's kind of like unknown too, right? So if like you had double the calls, it would obviously, could be more, or if you had half the calls, it could be less kind of thing.
So we know that staffing Monday through Saturday is roughly about 105,000 to 120,000 a year, based on our staffing model, meaning if we've got an EMT and a driver or an EMT and a paramedic. Or a paramedic's making $22 an hour, an EMT is making $18 an hour, a driver's making $16 an hour. So based on kind of that mixture of what we're staffing, that's kind of what we're paying. And every day we at least have an EMT on shift. I think Chief's got it to where we're 3-4 days a week with paramedic level service during the day.
And once, if I can get that increased more, I want to do closest unit again, which means if Polk City has a call, their ambulance is gone, we're the next closest ambulance to Polk City, that they would call us and we would go and respond to their call. That would help us bill another emergency room trip or an ambulance trip. And that would also increase our numbers. But that would be just day crew. That would not be on call at night.
So how does that work? So like we get revenue from calls in the city, county?
When we transport to the hospital, we'll bill the insurance and then we get some of that money back.
In the future, I'd like to look into, how we can bill for fire, fuel cleanup, accidents, stuff like that. I know the billing company she's looking into can do that, so that's something that we should look into in the future as well.
Yeah, insurance companies typically will pay.
Yeah.
And then there's the cities oftentimes, if you have a routine caller that calls a lot and you show up a lot, care center was that for us. I don't know that we would do that, but that's something to consider. We have a lot of calls to the care center to transport, and so we do get the transportation piece. But as the community grows, if that volume increases and it's taken us away from other activity, oftentimes entities do charge when they have someplace that's a routine caller.
So what's like our, I guess, jurisdiction or boundary area for what we can respond to versus like a city calling us in or whatever?
So for our ambulance service?
I guess for either.
We're about 36 square miles in Dallas and Polk County.
So we go to about the new roundabout for Polk City area. We go to the bridge anytime there's a water rescue on Cedarville. We go under the bridge right there. So the roundabout, and then we have, I think, 4 houses. On Beaver. That's that end. I'm directionally challenged right here. North, we go just on the other side of Highway 17 bridge to the first gravel road, I think, on that north side. To the south, it's 220th Street. I think it's 220th. What is that, maybe 5 miles south of town? And then towards Woodward, it's
past the mosque, like halfway between
the T
Woodward.
Avenue.
Yeah. So, pretty good district.
Does Woodward have EMS or no?
They have first responders. They do not, or they do have EMS, but they don't have an ambulance service. So they rely on Dallas County to transport.
Does it typically come out of Perry?
What's that?
Does it come out of Perry, or where does that come from?
Perry or Adel. And that's who our automatic aid is for the Dallas County side. So you would have Dallas County on your street. My street, I get Polk City.
Okay.
Or Johnston Grimes for my auto aid.
Kirk, do you want to kind of explain the townships a little bit? I'm not very good at that. So like the revenue from the townships that we get.
Yeah, so we participate with the local townships that the township will pay in for us to cover. And so Jefferson Township now does that. And so we provide, that's in that district. So Jefferson Township is paying in. So part of the fire and EMS budget, there's Jefferson Township money in that. So if you look at the overall budget for fire and EMS, a good portion, not a good portion, maybe we got a $325,000 EMS and
150.
Yeah, 150-ish. So we're looking for all of Jefferson Township is, that township's paying in to cover that entire area. We're covering that with fire and EMS, and they have a revenue stream coming out of that around 150. But like Chief said, we're covering the whole district, about 36 square miles, but a good share of that Jefferson Township, a lot of homes and stuff over there, we cover that in that district. Any other questions for them? It's like I explained it earlier, we're a little ways from balancing, so we'll go through the revenue side. We'll look from the expense side, we'll get feedback from the council, communicate with everybody kind of where we're at, and go from there.
Are there any other concerns you guys have from the shakeout of the first half of last year that we should be, as the new council, as the new mayor, concerned with? Anything brought to our attention?
I have, our ambulance inspection is coming up in March. So right now we're having to rewrite a lot of documents. So that's a lot of time consuming stuff. But I think that's probably I'm hoping that's the last thing I find. But it's just that I didn't realize that we didn't have these until I knew we had to do our ambulance inspection, and then I have a 5-page document that I have to go through and check all these boxes, and it's like, where's this, what is this, and then trying to find those. So I'm still finding a lot of that stuff because I didn't know.
Well, even today is a good scenario, so we got this bill for $400 that we're paying for O2 tanks a month. Well, we haven't bought oxygen since what,
I think they said
2024?
since 24. So we've been paying almost $500 a month for oxygen rental.
But,
We're looking into it.
Yeah.
More to come.
but we're uncovering a lot of different things that we didn't know about. So,
And they haven't been delivering them.
No, because I have 8 empty tanks that are sitting there paying rent on them, apparently. That's what we pay. Why do I have that many oxygen tanks? I don't know. So we're working on that to try to figure out why we have almost a $500 monthly bill on oxygen tanks. They're here in Des Moines. I can go pick them up if we run out, so.
Aren't they just down on 100th?
Second
Second.
Avenue. I think
Second
they said.
Avenue, okay. The other one.
Outside of that, I can't think of anything, but lots of new stuff pops up every once in a while that I'm like,
Yeah, you don't know what you don't know until you know it.
right.
Yeah.
So thankfully, Christy's very helpful on that. Kirk, listening, helping me where he can. It's a lot,
Yeah. Okay.
so.
How frequently does the ambulance need checked? Is it an annual check or?
I think it's every
3 years.
that's what I was thinking, every 3 years. Full inspection, I've been told don't have an expired 2x2 in it. Don't have an expired bandage. So we've been going through every single item, checking their expiration date.
They're experienced crews and we've got professionals from other departments that are here and doing that, and they do a good job. Very, very engaged.
Yes.
Can't believe that thing's 3 years old already.
I
Yeah,
can't-
how long was the loan?
5.
5?
7, I think.
Do 7?
I think it's till 2030 something,
Pretty sure
right?
it's 7.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
I want a different
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Nope.
That wasn't on the line. item.
Getting mine.
Anything else for,
Yeah.
anything else for EMS?
Thank you.
Yep,
Appreciate
thank
it.
you guys.
Thank you.
We kind of figured being last, everything would be a yes anyway.
What's that?
Thank you.
Thank you. Hopefully we can go through these pretty quickly.
You want to run through these? Do you want to go sit at the table so you
No.
can?
I'll yell. Mayor council, so salaries, I kind of wrote down what they are. 600 a month for mayor, 200 a month for council. I usually pay council quarterly. That makes up that 19.2. Is 6215, 5,000 is for the Greater Dallas County Development Association that we are paying into, but I don't know if you want to speak on that. But, and then we have a 1215 Dallas County Local Housing Trust Fund that we pay into. It's an organization that people can fill out applications for. They come and take care of things for the low-income residents here. They've done some work here in Granger, so we just pay into that. If you need a roof done or something like that, they've come in and done that. This new opportunities, I kind of forget what they do, but it's a donation that they send us a letter, we bring it to the council. You guys have always, I haven't seen it actually in a couple of years, so I'm not sure if they're even doing it anymore, because we get pay into 25 or 24. But that's something too that I can bring to the meeting too and see if we want to do that. The 525 is new. I forgot to add that when I sent out the packet by email, but that's your emails that we've added to the GrangerIowa.org emails with access systems. It's a payment of like $7.20 a person times the 12. That's at 525. So I put that on our technology services. And then auditing is my audit examination that I have every year. That usually increases every year, as you can see, gone up every year. I haven't paid the latest one that we got. I know I reached out to see where the invoice was, but they haven't. They said it should be out to me in a couple weeks. So I just increased that based off what they've increased their audit. I know I had mentioned something to Kirk. I know people have mentioned about doing a full audit. I have no problem doing that. I would be more than happy to at least get a quote, an estimate on it. Now that we got new mayor, council, and I wouldn't mind doing that, but it'd be nice to get a quote on that. But other than that, because of how much we spend, how much revenue we take in, we are just required to do a audit examination every year.
Yeah, so we do an audit, but there is a full, further in-depth
Correct.
audit process to meet bonding requirements. If we're doing more projects where we're doing more bonding, you get a better bond rating and a better rate if you do the full. If you do a more in-depth, so we're audited by the state auditor. We can purchase a more in-depth audit, $20,000 to $25,000 a year, that could lower our borrowing ability, lower the rate on our borrowing. That rate, we can start running those numbers, but you take them out of our indebtedness, what would the variation be between the rate now versus what we could get for future indebtedness? And can you get a rate that's cheaper to make up the difference between a $10,000 audit versus a $25,000, can we save $15,000 a year in a rate? We're probably not quite there yet, but
I'm talking about going to like a bigger bank.
yeah, if you get, if you do the full audit, you get a better bond rating, and then you get the bigger players come to the table.
Yeah.
We're getting good participation anyway. E-Bank's been really competitive for us, but, you know, as you do borrow more, and if we do head down that path, we potentially could get a lower rate, and we can take a look at that. We're not there yet, but
It wouldn't take much to make up $15,000 in big projects if you're getting a lower rate.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So that's the mayor and council. If you have any questions on that, let me know. For clerk, that's probably the only thing I increased was salaries. Again, it's a placeholder. Kirk, however, is on contract. But Karen is, she is split between clerk, water, sewer, because she does all her utility billing. So she's like 20% out of clerk, 40 out of water, 40 out of sewer. And then I'm all out of clerk and Kirk's all out of clerk. So that's that 214,100. I've kind of put what the 2,100 makes up. It's Iowa League of City dues, the MIPA dues that Kirk is involved with. 4,200 is Kirk's mileage reimbursement. I take that out of that. 1,260 is our cell phone reimbursements for Kirk, Karen, and myself. So that makes up that 1,260. 10,000 is publication, so that's all my minutes that gets published, my amendments, my any public hearings that then sends to the paper. Those kind of items come out of there. It's kind of trending up. As you can see, I've spent 53 as of 2026, so I kind of upped it. I kind of put what makes up that. Most papers are supposed to charge the 62.9 cents for each line. I will admit I do like to put a lot in my minutes, but I like to be very thorough. I do know some cities don't put anything but the approval of the resolution or the approval of the ordinance, and there's nothing else in there, just the action items. I like to put a little bit of depth into it, so I'm just bad that way, sorry. But if you want to, you know.
Not a bad thing. I mean,
It's not a bad thing, but.
It's very
I mean, it's not a good thing.
transparent.
Yeah.
It's a big
I like
word,
to be-
yeah.
I like
They
to
do it
be-
all on the website too. Right?
Correct,
I
so.
mean, it's already on there. I don't know if there's anybody that reads a newspaper.
Right.
I mean, I haven't in years.
Yeah.
I'd have to look into, is it possible to put thorough more minutes on the website and more or less? I don't know if they have to be the same. I hate to admit, I don't know that. I hate for an audit to come and say, why are
Yeah.
you putting more, you know, I don't know that answer.
2 different versions of minutes.
That'd be a good
Correct, I don't
question.
wanna do something wrong, so I will ask
Correct.
that anyway, but, that's kind of trending. The 960 for technology is again, the grangeriowa.org for Karen, I, and Kirk. And we have, you guys have the basic package, we have more of the package that we can do other things with on that, so it's a little bit higher. The 250 is just office supplies, 500 is just operating supplies for things that we need in the office. So that's where I came up with that 233, 370.
I am.
Mine's basic in my clerk, but I don't really ask for anything other than what is required to run the office and so forth, but yes,
I am now on the distribution list, right?
yes. Sorry. I sent that email I just took the last meeting that we had and sent it out, but I do remember you saying you were not on that list. But yes, sorry about that. That was my bad.
I got them.
I know, sorry. So unless anybody has questions on the clerk budget.
This is overarching, but it looks like the health insurance line for you has gone down, but everybody else's went up.
Correct. Just a couple things taken off Karen's health insurance.
Oh, okay.
She's got family, but her son's 26, he came off and
Oh,
so
okay.
forth. So just a couple items there. That's why it went down. Yep. So. And again, I'll have final numbers for next week. I do know they're trending, when I talked to our insurance, our health insurance, they're trending, the last 2 quarters was like 11% increase, so.
Of course they are.
Yeah, it's amazing.
For a high
Bigger
deductible
scandal.
insurance, right? 'Cause that's what we
Mhm.
have. So I'm going to trend on 11%, but that does not mean that's to come. And we do have, obviously Alicia mentioned she doesn't have insurance, so it's, there are some things in there that's kind of helping some of the, maybe that, but it is what it is with health insurance.
City
So
Hall?
I didn't know, sorry, we're on City Hall. Unless anybody had any more questions on clerk. City Hall, let's see, the same. Telephone communications, 35, just because we're trending that way. Engineering retainer, I have Bob's retainer fee coming out of that. So it's not coming out of any certain item. He's kind of like an attorney when we pay the retainer fee for Ben. I have him in here. Ordinances, I just had that split out from my publication so I can keep track of how much I spent on ordinances. It's the exact same thing when you go and get it published in the paper. That's why that's separate. So I have that at 900. It possibly could come down, but I dropped it a little bit. The copier lease, we have a copier that we lease. It's that $612.37 a month. Postage, we rent the postage machine, we run our postage, and we have a postage, or the government rate, but it's the $65.81 that we pay quarterly. And then we have a folder inserter machine that Karen runs all her utility bills through, so the bills get into the envelopes. And we pay a lease on that. It's $24.61 a month. Okay, technology services. So this is our annual website fee, our accounting software renewal fee. That comes out of water and sewer also, because it's a lot of utility billing coming out of that. And then my Access IT support is also included in there. And I have it all written out if you really want to know line by line, but it comes out to about $18,700. I wanted to cushion it just a little bit because I know our website with Civic Plus always has an increase of something, whether it's 3% or 5%. And then $4,800 is when people pay their bill online. At one point we were taking, until I knew that it was coming out of parks. I'm not sure why. But it really is for utility billing, so they charge us a fee for those. All paid is our credit card representative there. So I moved it from parks into my budget. That's why it looks a little skewed there, because I had $500 budgeted for this year. And I think the rest is pretty much the same. I brought down office supplies a little bit, but. So really the big increase was our technology services. I just wanted to kind of cushion it for any.
The new time tracker software stuff, is that gonna come out of that, or is that something different?
Well, that too. I don't know what we're gonna do we're going to the cloud, and that's part of my fee. There's no increase in that. However, I don't know if that time pay system will track some of the items that you're looking for, like mileage and asset allocation, some of the things you guys were talking about. I'm not sure on that. I have reached out to them, and they haven't got back to me yet. G-Works is who we use. I'm waiting to hear back. But if we need to use a different system or a different way of tracking that for
Yeah,
Public
we'll
Works,
need
I
to-
want to be able to have it in my budget.
Need to budget that?
Yeah. So yes, that would be part of that. And we could take a little bit out of water, sewer, or streets, because if Public Works is gonna be a huge part of it.
Yeah.
I think some of it should come out of their budgets too, but I think he's got enough in his water sewer to kind of cushion some of that anyway. So, yes. And that's it.
Anybody got any more questions?
Me. And then the last page is just the grants, like you said, we kind of wanted to take it out, focus more on that when people go after grants, we kind of got it.
Yeah, because a lot of times you'd put in, I'm gonna go after a $20,000 grant, and then we have to put in 20,000 in revenue to zero that out. But then you look at their budget year over year, and grants were skewing what they actually put, so we just pulled the grant piece out separate.
Yeah.
Can we, for future packets, can we duplicate it? Can we have this as a consolidation at the end, but can we have this information on each one of these as well?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. We just made that decision today.
yeah.
Yeah.
At
We had it in
4
there,
o'clock.
but then my percentages, like EMS, for instance, we had 80,000 in there for their grant for this year, 50 for next year. Well, it made it look like they're a 3% decrease, and really it is not a 3% decrease, because they've increased their
She can add it
salaries and
on
so
the
forth.
bottom
So
of
I
each
could add it to
Yeah.
the bottom, but if you add it here, it's gonna
Yeah,
add into their total.
if you can add it to the bottom, that'd be great, yeah.
Yep. So.
I don't want to speak for it, but she sent it to me in Excel last year. That's just,
I want it in
that's Dan's
Excel.
love
And,
language.
and I feel too, when you have it in, I mean, you have to look at that too. Is that really 20,000 to spend elsewhere then?
No.
Like if you,
It's not.
do you see what I mean? Like if
Yeah,
you
I
have
know
it in
what
your
you're
budget and they look, oh, I got 30,000 left, well, 20,000 is your, and then they spend it. You see what I mean? I feel like
Yeah. We don't want to
they
meet
might
that.
go
your net-
over, they'll
your
go
net zero
over on
becomes a
another
deficit.
line item
Yeah.
by $20,000
Yeah.
because they think they have it. It's just kind of one of those, gotta really keep an eye on, I guess. I don't know.
It's meant to be a net zero, but you can't spend it
See what
elsewhere,
I mean?
otherwise it
Okay,
deficit. So,
yeah. So, anyway, all I had, unless anybody had anything.
Anything else?
Let
So
me
looks
know, let me know feedback that you have on areas I mean, we still have some trimming to do. We'll get information out to you where we're at on revenue.
That's what I was wondering.
Yeah, but we're in the 190-ish away from balancing.
It would be nice, I don't know if
But
they
it's
think
preliminary. I
they
mean,
want to
we-
go through and look at them after the fact and send questions, or send them to Kirk if you think, hey.
Yeah, just email Christy and I if you have
Yeah,
input. That's what, I mean, what we did last year is we came back and the council said, no, we're balancing. And we had discussion.
I bet.
obviously if we have it kind of ahead of time, as you're thinking about it, then we can
Right.
kind of, we'll have a little bit of it
Yeah.
covered by next Wednesday.
There's a few items in there that could be trimmed, but I mean, the departments are doing a really good job of not just adding in a lot of fluff. And then, again, road use, sewer, water, those are enterprise funds, and those stay in their own area.
I would say, and I don't know if Jody would agree, but this is probably the most conservative budget that I've seen since
Yeah.
I've been on council.
100%.
They've all done a really good job.
Not saying I want to spend it all by any means, but
Yeah.
the wish list is more realistic this time around.
Yeah.
What is the lost funding, that is not a consistent income stream for the city?
It's
and-
fairly consistent, but it's been a good thing for Granger in that we haven't woven it into the regular budget. Christie does pay down, part of that was to pay some portion of tax, so 25% of the revenue coming in goes in to pay down to reduce taxes. So what she does is she uses that, say $100,000, to pay whether it's a line item or benefits or something, it goes in, and what it does, it reduces the debt service request or the tax request. So we use 100 of it to pay down, to reduce taxes. The rest of the remaining portion of that, we use, when we have something pop up that, initially we used 100,000 of it to make an annual payment when we bought the 26 acres. Or if something comes in and there's an emergency of something, or someone applies for a grant, we've used it for that. We have balanced the budget with it. We've been as high as 190 and as low as 86 the last 4 years, balancing. That's not uncommon. We have the benefit of making that decision. The council has been conservative with it, which I don't think is a bad thing. Granger's in a good position. We're not flush with a ton of cash, but we also, have managed our debt service well. And like Jared and Jody said, this year they did that without me asking them to. I did not say. I had minimal conversations. We let them know that's coming, and they all know the process. You take the budget that you have, you look at where you're at for your 6 months, you project out where you're going to be, and what do you need beyond that? And that's what you saw tonight. So that wasn't a meeting of me hacking and cutting. I purposely didn't tell them what to do. I let them bring it to you, and some of those we have conversations weekly, but I didn't give them insight on. So tell the council what you need to operate your department and what your wish list is, and so they're doing a good
General
job.
fund is the biggest thing we go over, because a lot of other things have a revenue stream coming in. So that's our biggest. But for next Wednesday, I'll make sure to put like all our capital projects that we got going on, our debt service, Lost. I have a page on Lost. I'll give you a copy of it. We've been receiving since 2019, but you can see what we've spent on things come up like Willow Street. We didn't have the money for that to fix that road, but
Right.
things like that. We did some sewer lining. We did the truck that Aaron was talking about.
Yeah.
Just some items like that, but still staying very steady with very cautious, I guess, with
Yeah.
our loss, but
Yeah. We're in a good
position with that,
Yeah,
so.
We're running thin. We do a lot with the team that we have, but everyone's doing a good job with it. And
Do we have any notes that are getting towards the tail end that we could just
Knock
get rid of and
Yeah.
burn up 200 grand in cash and just get rid of it and
we can
change our cash flow?
We can look.
Granger did that a lot in the past. That's why.
I hate
I
seeing
did.
interest line items.
One of the one of the loans we had, one of the debt that we had, it was towards the sewer plant. I paid extra payments on
Yeah.
because we had it in our debt service. So that thing's gonna be paid off 3 or 4 years earlier than it's supposed to.
We can look at that schedule.
But that was when our debt, we just didn't have a lot going on at that period of time, so we didn't. But we still kept the rate the same by doing that, so,
The library probably doesn't have any debt.
no.
No.
The only, I'm trying to think, you got water, sewer, and then you got the ambulance.
Yeah. Aaron's got plenty of money. In my opinion.
So what's the meeting next Wednesday to
Yeah.
discuss?
We're gonna try to trim down, so give me your feedback during the week. Email Christy and I,
We can
or
get
give
some
us a
feedback
call.
maybe by Monday. That way we can make sure to get it in you'll get sheets about like this again, and I'll give you the revenue piece that we went through, and then we just go kind of from there. But if we have some ideas of what you're thinking of,
Yeah.
what we could trim out or whatever, or ideas or whatever,
Yep.
be nice to have those. But,
Yeah, there's not a lot in there, but if you wanna have a conversation about something, let us know. We're gonna go line item by line item on the revenue side. And Christie's pretty conservative. I'm gonna push them up. Not a lot, but a little.
And I'll get you a copy of that general fund before Wednesday, so you guys have to see everything, obviously,
Yeah.
which you get that night of.
So we'll go through and just estimate where we're at on everything and refine it a little bit more.
And then will you send us like what the total amount of funding is?
Yeah.
Or is that in here? That's not in here, is it?
The revenue projection sheet,
Yeah.
There's nothing revenue-wise in there yet.
Well, sorry, not revenue, just
Other than
how much
each-
I guess we get to spend on the general fund. Like, do we have a total, so like all these, like how much do we need to trim, I guess?
right now, we're 194 away, 194,000.
And like, where's that number? Like, what's the total number that's coming from, I guess is my question.
Well, yeah, so here's the general fund, but it's 1,805,229. That's where I'm at. Now that I still need some numbers, that's what's yellow. But our expenses is 1,998,802.82 of general fund, just general fund, not road use tax or water and sewer. So that's what, the 193.
Yeah, to simplify it,
Ish.
if you want to balance the budget today, you got to trim $194,000 out of what was just presented to you. It's
Correct.
not there. You can't cut 194,000 and still operate those departments. So there's going to be a portion of that we're either going to have to cut really deep somewhere, or you balance a portion of it again with lost. Philosophically, we chose not to go that deep last year, and we reduced back some departments. You see, they've come pretty conservative, so we'll pull us closer through some revenue projections. We'll reduce that number. There are a few line items in there that can be reduced, and other methods to maybe accomplish what they want to accomplish. So we'll let you know where we're at. But if you have a feel for what you saw tonight that you feel should be, hey, we think, if 3 of you say we think this should be reduced, then we'll look at it next week and have a conversation. There won't be a lot of depth next week because you've already seen it. If there's areas you think should be reduced, we'll do that. But we'll refine it. We're probably ahead of the game, and fortunately, we're not like a lot of cities. There are a lot of cities around us who would love to be 190,000 from balancing. They're millions away. Now they're bigger than us, but
And the 194 is not a finalized number.
No.
That could get more narrow.
It can get
next
narrow,
week.
yes, and
Correct.
we will.
Because
There's,
what, last year we were, do you remember how much we were over?
No, not off the top of my head,
On the top
a
of my
lot.
head.
yeah, and we narrowed it down to 86,
Well, we cut it in half, didn't we?
I think
On the
so.
Right,
lost.
I think it was 160 or something
Yeah.
like that.
Because the
Probably.
statement cut lost potentially in half, and then the goal was to do like another 25% each year,
Yeah.
which I don't think you could ever get there, but
No.
the bullet went across the bow and sent the message, so.
Yeah. 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 So if you have any questions, direction you'd like to see, let us know. But I feel good where where our presentations are and what everyone's, the direction we're heading. And then philosophically, you just look at, what's it take to operate the department? And how are we operating, and do you have a philosophy on how that should continue? Or I think what's been presented, the department heads have done a really good job. What do you say?
I'm good.
Yeah,
I gotta
you
say
guys
it.
okay?
Obviously, meeting adjourned.
Yeah.
Yep, adjourned.
Meeting adjourned.